It's Monday, August the 10th. Today, million in losses and more to come. Why experts are saying extreme weather is the new normal in Canada. Also, growing concerns. Canadian trade negotiators will be back at it today. Will Canada make additional concessions to avoid U.S. tariffs? Plus, 40 years of history and thousands of items for sale. One antique store has connected hundreds of Manitobans with items they would have a hard time finding anywhere else. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Monday to you. I'm back after 3 weeks. It's good to be back, to see you, Danny, as well as to see you at home. Thank you so much for joining us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Now, Ainsley is continuing her journey around the world. Of course, this week, it's a whole new set of pavilions that are open, including the Hungry Pannonia Pavilion, and that's where she's hanging out this morning. She's going to sort of explore the food, the drink, the dance, the culture, and, of course, the community here in Manitoba. So we're going to have details on that. But the weekend weather, it was amazing. In fact, I felt like it was pretty amazing the last 3 weeks when I was off too.
Anytime you're off, it's easy. I've switched over a chair here, but
yes,
I'll do my best today here on weather. And what we saw a lot of last week and over the weekend is pretty seasonal average temperatures here in Winnipeg right now, though 11 degrees, pretty cloudy still. Light winds out of the west, pressure rising, humidity sitting at 97%. Much of last week, we saw temperatures in the low to mid-20s, and that's what we're going to see this week as well. Taking a look at our Skywatch satellite earlier this morning, some light rain throughout parts of western Manitoba. Few scattered lightning strikes as well, but nothing severe. That is ending this morning in parts of the southwest. Little chance of some of that in and around Winkler and Morden area. As for our futurecast, pretty clear skies here in Winnipeg and the surrounding area today. Up north, a little cloudier, and parts of the southwest a little cloudy as well. Moving through the day, those clouds are going to roll into Winnipeg and the surrounding area as well. Some scattered showers expected up north. Heading into Tuesday, another chance of some scattered showers throughout parts of western Manitoba. Now it's going to roll through. We could see a few raindrops here and there in Winnipeg. Clouds rolling in yet again on Wednesday, but taking a look at our long-range forecast, high of 24 today, going to feel closer to like 27 with that humidity, dipping down to 13 overnight. And I'm not a gambling man, but if I had to put a bet on daytime highs this week, I'd say 24 degrees and a mix of sun and cloud.
Thank you, Daniel. Extreme weather has impacted nearly every part of our country this summer. In the prairies, widespread flooding caused significant damage to several communities, with insurance claims adding up. CTV's Alex Karpa on what the insured losses total so far.
The water levels have gone down, but the impact remains. Weeks after heavy rains flooded parts of southern Manitoba, communities are continuing to confront the damage head-on.
I would say it is one of the craziest years.
The Swan Valley region in southwestern Manitoba was among the hardest hit. Major flooding damaged hundreds of roads, bridges, culverts, and homes.
Lots of people had water in the basements, and some people were lucky and only had a couple inches, but some people had a basement right full. Certainly there was huge amounts of damage in those cases.
In addition to cleanup, Gade says many residents have been continuing to assess damages and have been filing insurance claims. According to the Insurance Bureau of Canada, insured losses from 2 days of severe weather in June in both Manitoba and Saskatchewan have climbed over $840 million, up from all of 2025, which saw around $760 million in losses, mostly due to wildfires.
The losses that you saw in Manitoba, Saskatchewan are from wind, water, hail, right, over a very short period of time.
Liam McGinty says billion-dollar weather disasters are now becoming increasingly common across Canada.
The next question is, have we done enough to adapt to this new normal? And in our view as an industry, we've not done nearly enough as a country.
McGinty is urging provincial and federal governments to start investing in better infrastructure to protect Canadians from these extreme events, conditions that John Hanesiak says have been felt across the prairies.
We're on track to potentially break records for, at least for the Canadian prairies, for severe weather reports and events. So We're still putting together numbers, but we could potentially break some records this summer.
Hanesiak warns the active weather pattern could continue through the rest of the summer and into the fall. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Tragic news out of BC. An 80-year-old woman has died trying to escape from a rapidly moving wildfire in Summerland. The explosive fire is moving so fast, many people have lost everything.
There was no time to really grab anything. We got 4 horses out, and the rest we had to open the gates and hope that they survived. We lost everything. We lost our dogs. We couldn't get our dogs out in time. There's just nothing left at all. It's devastating.
The fire was discovered Friday and quickly exploded in size, making a direct run toward Okanagan Lake. It burned through areas like Falder and Meadow Valley in the process. More than 20,000 people in and around Summerland have been forced from their homes, including 50 who needed to be airlifted out. The flames were so close, many evacuees suffered burns.
Behavior is rank 5, which is extremely aggressive and volatile. There is spot fires occurring ahead of the fire, and as the fire progresses, it's absorbing those spot fires.
There are more than 100 active wildfires burning across the province this morning, 3 of which started in just the last 24 hours. BC declared a state of emergency over the weekend, with more than 30,000 people now under evacuation orders or alerts. And BC wildfire officials say there is a high potential for more lightning-caused wildfire starts, particularly in the central interior and the Okanagan. Fire officials are once again warning people about a rise in lithium-ion battery fires.
If that battery becomes compromised, it goes into what's called thermal runaway, and that's where very, very quickly that fire will accelerate and grow.
Calgary firefighters responded to 3 battery fires over a span of 24 hours last week. At least 2 of them involved e-scooters and their lithium-ion batteries overheating while charging. People are being told to avoid overcharging the batteries. Devices should be unplugged when they reach the charge level you want. Fire officials want to see stronger oversight of lithium-ion batteries sold in Canada. Some of the batteries sold online don't meet Canadian safety standards. A group of First Nations chiefs is hoping to halt the West Coast pipeline. The Union of British Columbia Indian Chiefs is calling on both Ottawa and Alberta's government to stop the pipeline process, saying it will only accelerate climate change and its impacts. The group also claims Ottawa didn't consult with First Nations in good faith regarding the pipeline plan. Improvements are on the way for St. Vital Duck Pond. As you can see, the pond is looking a little green, due in part to how shallow it is. The city says next year it will be dredged and some areas naturalized to help prevent geese from flocking there. The park is also getting some new paving, including better pathways throughout the area. The total cost of the revitalization is pegged at just shy of $3.4 million, on top of $1.2 million for roads. If you're looking for a tasty treat in support of Folklorama, a St. James bakery has got you covered.
Because we've been doing this for 3 years now, they wait for us to open up orders, and they're very excited to come get them.
The team at High Tea Bakery on Portage Avenue has been keeping up with the demand for state-of-the-art Folklorama desserts. A collaboration in its 3rd year, staff designed costume-inspired cookies based on Folklorama's team choosing 6 pavilions to be represented in icing. This year, South Sudan, Punjab, El Salvador, Ukraine, Spain, and Japan cookies were made with care, with portions of the proceeds from cookie sales going back to the Folklorama Cultural Preservation Fund. Staff say it's a unique process making these using a process called edible image printing.
In this case, for the Folklorama cookies, we are assigned the pavilions, and then Belinda, our owner, hand designs from scratch all of the different outfits for those 6 pavilions. They're designed, they get printed onto the cookie, and then our wonderful studio staff go back in and they hand detail with piping.
About 3 dozen of these cookies are made each day based on the time it takes for the design process. Aaron Jarzin says the limited time treats will be available until Saturday at the bakery. They look good. All right, here's a look outside now. What's happening at Confusion Corner? It looks like things are starting off pretty smoothly this morning on this Monday morning. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share with us, please send us a text at 10400. Let's go now to Ainsley, who's hanging out this morning, visiting the 2nd week of Folklorama. Good morning, Ainsley. Nice to see you.
You too, Rochelle. Welcome back. And on your first day back from vacay, I'm going to give you a little trivia question.
Okay.
What is the Folklorama mascot?
Llama. Right?
I know.
Am
now,
I right?
I went to the Belgian pavilion. You are.
Okay.
The mascot's dancing away, and I go, look at that kangaroo. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It kind of does look like it. I'm not going to lie. It kind of looks like it. I had an absolute blast at Folklorama. Again, not only did I go to the Belgian pavilion, I went to the Chilean pavilion. Amazing food, amazing dance, and now we're in our second week at Hungary. A brand new menu basically for them. Tons of new stuff, including the gypsy steak, which features fried onions and tomatoes and peppers. There's also a fried bread on the menu, tons of cocktails and mocktail options. You're also going to want to head to the market. Some brand new options there as well. Right now, we're standing in the cultural display, which is where one of our segments are. And there's two different bands coming in. Both you've got people coming in from Hungary, Toronto, and Montreal to provide some live music.
It sounds and looks lovely so far. Thank you, Ainsley. We'll check in a little later. Let's go out to the rooftop now where Daniel Halmerson is live this morning. And how's it looking and feeling out there?
Absolutely beautiful start to Monday, Rochelle. Sun is just starting to poke out over 300 made right now. And yeah, can't complain. 11 degrees. Yeah, a little bit of sunshine, light winds, pressure rising and humidity sitting at 97%. Now, early last week, we would have considered this pretty cool for this time of the day, but this is the seasonal average that we're going to see for the next few weeks. As for today, getting up to around 24 degrees here in Winnipeg. Seasonal average is 26, so we're right on that threshold. And we're going to be there most of the week, and with that, fairly clear skies. We could see some showers later in the week on Friday and Saturday, but overall, it's going to be a lot of the same as we did see last week. Low chance of precipitation, fairly sunny skies, a few clouds here and there, but those daytime highs are quite comfortable. And the rest of the province, much of the same too. Early this morning, Brandon in that area did see a few scattered showers. Later today up north, you could see some a few showers as well. But here in Winnipeg, mainly sunny skies and beautiful temps. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back with more CTV, your Morning Winnipeg.
Good morning. It is 6:15. For the third time in less than a year, emergency crews were dispatched to reports of a fire at a downtown Winnipeg restaurant on Saturday. This was the scene Saturday afternoon at the Bougie restaurant formerly at 191 Main Street. Just before 6 a.m., Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service responded to the scene where crews found heavy smoke coming from the building. Fire crews arranged an emergency demolition of the building to ensure they could fully extinguish the blaze. The Bougie restaurant was previously damaged by fire on August 2nd, and arson was determined as the cause in its original fire last October. No injuries were reported. The fire is currently under investigation. A fisherman in Selkirk has quite the tale to tell after hooking an unusual catch. Around 3 Thursday afternoon, RCMP say the man was fishing on the waterfront when he caught a grenade. The Manitoba RCMP Explosives Disposal Unit contacted the Canadian Armed Forces to analyze the item. It was determined to be a training grenade from the 1950s. No safety pin was attached, and it was deemed safe to move for disposal. RCMP are reminding the public not to touch, move, or disturb any object that appears to be an explosive device. Russia and Ukraine traded deadly attacks over the weekend. In Ukraine, several regions were struck by Russian drones, including the city of Odessa, injuring at least 8 people. Several residential buildings were damaged, igniting fires across the historic city. At daylight, crews could be seen cleaning up debris and helping the wounded. At least 3 were reported killed and dozens injured in strikes on cities further east. And this was the scene at daybreak in the Russian city of Belgorod. It's located about 40 kilometers north of the Ukrainian border. And officials there say at least 5 are dead and 25 hurt after Ukrainian drone attacks. Canadian trade negotiators will be back at it today, trying to hammer out a deal with the United States and avoid a new round of tariffs set to hit in just 9 days. CTV's Michael Serapio on what price some Canadians say they're willing to pay to get a deal done.
It's a question now being asked. What concessions are Canadians willing to make?
I don't know what we could give that would ensure that we didn't have economic pain.
With trade talks entering another week, industry sources tell CTV News Ottawa is considering concessions on U.S. cars and booze to avoid a new 50% tariff that would be applied on August 19.
I don't think we should be making any concessions to the U.S.
I don't know. We've already done a lot.
This Sunday, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre released an early morning letter. Addressed to the Prime Minister, it warns Mark Carney against giving any ground to the U.S. unless concessions lead to tariff-free access for Canadian lumber, cars, steel, and aluminum. Poilievre writing, "Our message is clear. We want the win and the good deal you promised 15 months ago. Canadians deserve a government that has the backbone to fight for our workers, our families, and every inch of our sovereignty." But it's unclear if free trade is even possible. For the past year, U.S. officials have been very adamant.
We are committed to continuing to use tariffs.
And that's led some to believe that free trade, as Canadians have known it, is dead.
That's gone. I think what we're going to see now is some kind of broadly managed trade agreement.
As for this current round, there is some skepticism and fatigue, as this is not the first tariff threat made by the U.S. president.
At this point, I think it'd be better off just essentially accepting where we're at with the U.S. and moving on.
And past concessions have not stopped the threats from coming.
A deal that is made with the Trump administration is not a deal that's necessarily going to be stable.
Regardless, the minister responsible for Canada-U.S. trade, Dominic LeBlanc, will head back to Washington. And two things to watch out for. First, whether the threatened tariffs for August 19 can be avoided. And second, what precedent any deal made will set for the future of CUSMA.
Winnipeggers looking to tap into the rich history of the province spent some time this weekend celebrating a 131-year-old house.
We hope to continue this tradition on going forward into the future as well.
Back for the third year in what's become an annual tradition, Dalnavert Museum downtown opened its doors for free to the public. Museum staff arranged a rummage and bake sale, a maker market featuring local crafters, and performances were held inside the decades-old home. Organizers say there were a lot of new visitors to the house, but for those who keep coming back, it never gets old stepping back in time.
I think people love coming and walking through the house because it is so different from today. So a lot has changed since 1895, and so it really does feel like a different time period and being like a time traveler and seeing what the past would have been like.
Watkins says weekends like this offer visitors a taste test of all the different programming the Dalnavert Museum features throughout the year, not just in the summertime. This is your chance to stare directly at the sun. Astronomers have taken the most detailed pictures yet of the star in our solar system. It shows hot plasma forming, swirling in vortex-like patterns. Researchers say the swirls may help explain how energy builds up on the sun.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires, proudly keeping Canadians rolling for 50 years.
We have some road closures to remind you about this morning on Empress Street. The southbound curb lane will be closed from Saskatchewan to Wellington Avenue. The southbound median lane on Princess Street will be closed between William and McDermott Avenue. And both north and southbound curb lanes on Balmoral Street will be closed from Cumberland to Qu'Appelle Avenue. If you have any other traffic tips, please send us a text at 10400.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
The sun just starting to peak outside. 11 degrees here in Winnipeg, mainly clear skies. Wind out of the west at 9 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, humidity sitting at 97%. Just saw those photos of this, or those videos of the sun. Absolutely stunning. Don't look directly at it. I don't have to tell you that. But looking around the province right now, out west, 13 degrees in Brandon. Some light showers throughout that region this morning. Here in Winnipeg, as I mentioned, 11 degrees. Much of the same in the surrounding area, 15 degrees just over the border in Kenora. Taking a look up north, we have 15 in Island Lake, 11 up in Churchill, 10 in Thompson, a chance of some showers there today. And in the northwest, 12 degrees up in Lynn Lake. As we move through the day, we're going to see fair amount of sunshine here in southern Manitoba. A chance of some showers rolling through south of us this morning, but not expected to really see Winnipeg. Up north, fairly clear skies right now, though, as I mentioned, a chance of some showers in parts of the province up north. By mid-afternoon, going to hit 23, 24 degrees. The wind shifting a little bit out of the northwest at 20 kilometers per hour. And the clouds are going to roll in as we move into the evening. And with that, it's that kind of year you may want to bring a coat or a sweater, especially if you're hitting a Folklorama Pavilion. Gets a little cool outside, but let's take a look at our 7-day forecast here. We're getting up to 24 today, much of the same throughout much of the week. 13-degree lows overnight. Now Friday, there is a chance of some showers. If you're heading to the Bomber game, you may want to pack that raincoat. Chance of some more showers on Saturday and a high of 22. And our weather pick of the day, this comes from Shelley from Faulkner. Now that's on the northeast shore of Lake Manitoba. Thank you so much for sending that in, and we'll be right back with more of Your Morning Winnipeg.
The old saying, one person's trash is another person's treasure, carries some weight to it in the rural municipality of West St. Paul. For nearly 4 decades and counting, one antique store on the side of the road has connected hundreds of Manitobans with items they would have had a hard time finding anywhere else. CTV's Joseph Bernacki brings you the story of the buyer behind the thousands of items for sale with 40 years of history.
This is where the magic happens, okay?
On a Sunday afternoon in West St. Paul, Glenn Rossong prices crystal to join the thousands of other items for sale in his store. The co-owner of Candle Co. Antiques has spent more than 4 decades of his life buying and selling things.
Funny thing is, I know where I bought every single item I buy. I remember where I buy it from. My daughter has the same ability, and you have to like what you're doing if you're doing the same job over and over and over.
Rossong recalled the day he and his wife were looking for a place to open their own antique shop. In July of 1986, their dreams were met as they passed by this old brick building on Highway 9. At one time, it was the home for the Winnipeg Electric Company Middle Church substation, built around 1907.
To this day, my wife now believes me, but at that day, she said, "You must have had a 2 o'clock appointment." I says, "No, I got no appointment." A man walked out with a for sale sign.
Within days, they sold their home they just finished renovating in Elmwood and moved here. He built up a collection of antiques to sell through sales in Winnipeg and trips to Chicago, buying at their annual Coin Op show. Over time, the store expanded to a 2nd and 3rd floor of items.
I get 100 people a week that have never been to my store till this day. They say, "Well, how do you remember all these prices and everything else?" Well, it's just the same repetition over and over and over.
But it was a connection to an antique store in Iowa that built him a base of sellers to buy from to this day. He still makes trips to the American Midwest with his trailer a couple times a year.
It's all about fate. And the lady looks at me and says, "Where are you guys from?" I said, "I'm from Winnipeg." "Oh, we have a good friend in Winnipeg."
By sheer coincidence, a family in Iowa knew Rossong's uncle, who would come down for hunting pheasants. Friendships were made from there. Many years later, Rossong knows his buying days are numbered, but he still gets a thrill from the reaction an individual item will bring.
When you're in business for 40 years, you never get pushed. You have to be patient. It's not about any money and everything else. I'm still excited about somebody buying a $2 item if they really were looking for that item.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, West St. Paul.
Divers off the coast of Sicily have recovered a 2,100-year-old Roman shipwreck. Divers from the Cultural Heritage Protection arm of a local police service say they made the discovery after a tip-off from some fishermen. The wreck is thought to date to between the 2nd and 1st century BCE, and it was found 46 meters below the surface. Officials say it was covered in well-preserved containers, often used to transport wine. Italy's culture minister says it was one of the most important underwater archaeological discoveries of recent years. All right, here's a look outside now at Portage Avenue at Polo Park. It looks like the sun is beautiful this morning and things are moving well on the street as well. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this. Daniel, just before the break, we saw the sun rising. Looks beautiful and sunny out there. What's the day going to be like?
Much of the same, actually. Okay. It's going to be quite nice out here in Winnipeg right now. As we mentioned, just the sun peaking out 11 degrees, mainly clear skies. Wind out of the west at 9 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, sitting at 97%. All last week, we kind of saw these seasonal average temperatures are just below seasonal average. And yeah, that's going to be pretty much all week here in southern Manitoba today. Some light showers through parts of the southwest and south of us in the Winkler-Morden area this morning, but expected to clear there. Maybe a few fog patches as well. Up north, cloudy start to the day. We could see a few showers up there as well. Here in Winnipeg, a high of 24 degrees. Going to feel closer to 27 with the wind chill. UV index around 7. That's getting into that high territory. Wind out of the northwest at 20 clicks. So a little windier than we're feeling outside right now, and that mix of sun and cloud. As we move into the evening, we could see a few more clouds roll in. Temperatures just below 20 degrees later tonight, and then getting all the way down to 13 overnight as those clouds roll in. The wind, though, shifting to the south, 10 kilometers per hour. Tomorrow, that wind going to kick around from the south. Again, a mix of sun and cloud. And again, a high of 24 degrees. So chance of a little bit of rain later in the week as we get into those Burt Block Party concerts all weekend. Slight chance of some showers on Friday. Much of the same on Saturday, high of 22, though that chance of some rain. But the sun returning on Sunday, high of 24.
Thank you, Daniel. As many Manitobans head out to the lake for some summer fun, an invasive species is slowly but steadily infecting our waterways. Zebra mussels are now in Lake Winnipeg, and more recently, they've been found in Lake of the Prairies. And once the invasive species arrives, it quickly multiplies. But that doesn't mean a shoreline is lost forever. CTV's John Hendricks shows us a community successfully fighting back.
Hillside Beach may look fairly deserted, but with every wave that hits the shore, a huge invading army arrives. An army of zebra mussels.
There's millions and millions of them. After this northwest wind goes down, there'll be piles along the beach. I've seen this beach was 6 to 8 inches high all the way down the beach.
This shoreline is being constantly swamped by unrelenting waves of the aquatic invasive species. But today, the beach is virtually free of zebra mussels, and they didn't simply wash back into the water. They've been moved here to what is quickly becoming a zebra mussel mountain.
It was important to us as a community to figure out a way to bring back the beauty at Hillside Beach.
So last summer, the Hillside Beach Community Association organized an army of volunteers. And with rakes, shovels, and pails, more than 100 people helped clear the zebra mussels away. The group also partnered with the province to first rent equipment and then purchase this tractor with a beach cleaner.
The great thing about the shells once they're back here in the meadow is they no longer smell. They're not sharp anymore, and they don't smell. So it's been quite an accomplishment.
An accomplishment achieved thanks to a lot of work and sacrifice. Time other communities with zebra-free waterways won't need to devote if boaters are willing to make a much smaller sacrifice of time by cleaning, draining, drying, as well as pulling the drain plugs from their boats.
We've got over 90% compliance from the public, from the boating public. So when I hear people say, well, you know, it's all inevitable, it won't work, the statistics say otherwise.
The battle to keep Hillside Beach clear of zebra mussels is never ending, but residents say it's a place worth fighting for. John Hendricks, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The province has also partnered with other communities near the Paw and Cranberry Portage area, and they're also working with Norway House First Nation doing similar sorts of things. You're going to need to find a different route this week if your commute takes you across the Louise Bridge. The city says the bridge is being closed for 1 week beginning this morning at 6 a.m. Reopening is planned for the same time the following Monday. It's to allow for resurfacing work. The west sidewalk will remain open to pedestrians and cyclists. It's now been confirmed that 2 tornadoes hit parts of southwestern Ontario Saturday. The Northern Tornadoes Project says 1 tornado hit near Lindsay. The other tornado landed in Woodstock. In Woodstock, crews spent yesterday assessing the damage as the cleanup starts. There were also reports of flooding and damage across the Waterloo region. A toddler in Maple Ridge, BC is expected to make a full recovery after being attacked by a bear. The 3-year-old girl was in her backyard when the animal mauled her. The child's father was able to fend off the bear, and the child was airlifted to hospital in Vancouver. RCMP shot the animal, but say it fled to the woods. Mounties say once the bear is found, it will be destroyed. Canadian dairy farmers say they've been assured the supply management system that protects Canadian dairy isn't on the table in trade talks with the U.S.
He told the Americans that supply management was not going to be talked about and that he's not going to give any more concessions.
Supply management is a system that controls the supply and prices of dairy products and helps ensure a more stable income for farmers in this country. The White House has been a critic, saying the system amounts to unfair protectionism that bars American farmers from the Canadian market. It's also been called an irritant in trade negotiations. For the first time in their franchise history, the Winnipeg Sea Bears are Western Conference champions. Sea Bears guard Isaiah Osborne nailed a closing three-point shot on the road Saturday over the Vancouver Bandits for a final score of 107-96. After earning their first ever franchise playoff win on Thursday, the Winnipeg squad doubled down. The team will now compete for their first ever Canadian Elite Basketball League title when they take on the Brampton Honey Badgers in a best-of-3 series. Game 1 starts on Wednesday in Brampton, where they return to Canada Life Centre on Saturday for Game 2. Here's a look at what's happening now in traffic along Main and Broadway. Things appear to be moving quite well starting off this Monday morning. If you have any issues on your drive, please send us a text to let us know. And here's a look at your gas prices now. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.66. We're seeing a decrease compared to last week. And the lowest price in the city is $1.56. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Up, Ainsley is live at the RBC Convention Center for the Hungry Pannonia Pavilion this week, covering Folklorama's second week. We're going to be back with more details after the break.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires, proudly keeping Canadians rolling for 50 years.
Bright sunshine to the east right now. It's really coming out there. Wonderful to see. I've been down in the chair for the last few weeks. Kind of refreshing being up on the rooftop this early. 11 degrees here in Winnipeg. Very light winds out of the west. Pressure rising, humidity sitting at 97%. Much of the province, same story this morning. Out west in Brandon, they did see a few showers earlier. Morden Winkler area could see a few scattered showers as well. Chance of some fog out west as well. So if you're heading out on the highways earlier this morning, just be mindful of that. As for today, getting up to around 24 degrees here in Winnipeg. Going to feel closer to 27 with that wind chill. Under a mix of sun and cloud. The clouds are going to roll in a little bit more as we move through the evening. Seasonal average this time of year is 26, so we're right around that threshold, and it's going to kick around for much of the week. And much of the week, Ainsley McPhail is going to be spending at Folklorama. It is week 2. She's at the Hungry Pavilion today, and looks like you are about to check out some food.
Good morning. Yeah, never too early for a Hungarian breakfast. Lizzie, thank you for being here today. Folklorama Week 2's kicked off. How was yesterday?
It was awesome. It was our first day. Obviously, we were setting up, so it was a little bit chaotic, but everything went really well. Our shows were great. So good, we sold out of some of our food items.
Oh, my. But they'll be back. So tell us a little bit about them.
So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what we have here. We serve a deep fried bread, which is called langosh, but this year we wanted to do it with a twist. So you can serve it with garlic salt or icing sugar, which is sort of the status quo. That's what people really enjoy. But there's also a tradition in Hungary where you can smother it with a little bit of sour cream, shredded cheese, and some red onion. Chef's kiss. It is so delicious. It's something new that we have this year, so we really encourage people to try it. We also have a new meal on the menu, which is the gypsy steak meal. It comes with a gypsy steak, which is pork, spiced up perfectly with a vegetable saute and rice. And if folks really like to add a little bit of heat, we've got the Eders Pista, which is strong Steve. It gives you a little bit of its Hungarian sriracha, if you will. And then we've also got the horseradish mayo, which pairs also really nicely with the pork.
Something that is special about your pavilion, too, is that everything's handmade. by the volunteers fresh ingredients.
Yes, we like to pride ourselves on the fact that we don't cater any of our food. Everything is made by our volunteers. We made over 2,000 cabbage rolls, 2,000 sausages, and it's a labor of love. We've got the family in the kitchen every day, and it's been amazing because we get to put on fresh food. So we host guests at our pavilion as if you were coming to our home.
And dessert. Some people need to finish it off with a sweet treat.
Absolutely. And I party failed. I brought them, but I didn't show them to you. We've got our crémèche, which is our traditional custard dish. It is enveloped in puff pastry, delightful. And then we have our debouche torte, or our drum cake, which has, it's called a drum cake because it's got a melted sugar coating on top, which is like a hard candy almost like, so it would sound like a drum. It looks like a drum. That's why they called it that. It's several layers. It's got some rum flavor to it. It's delightful, but there's no alcohol in it, just FYI.
Okay, good to know. I think I blacked out when you were explaining that. I'm like, how many layers?
A lot.
A lot. Thank you so much. Coming up, there's another segment and another one and another one and another one. Stay with us.
Here's a look at the early markets. The Dow Jones is 63 points up. The Nasdaq climbed 91 points. The S&P index is flat. The Canadian dollar is set to 71.74 cents U.S. Overseas, the Hang Seng is 269 points higher, and the Nikkei jumped 1,363 points. Good morning. It is 6:46. A traffic stop near Brandon led police to a stash of nearly $1 million. Take a look at this pile of cash. Mounties found it in the back of a vehicle they caught speeding late last month on the Trans-Canada Highway. The vehicle was driving about 30 kilometers per hour over the limit. Police stopped it as it reached Brandon, leading to the search. In total, $970,000 was seized. The driver and passenger of the car, both are from Ontario, are now facing charges of possession of property obtained by crime for the purpose of trafficking. It's now easier to get free birth control in Manitoba.
We want women and those who need this care to have the access in their communities.
Health Minister Uzuma Azaguera has announced pharmacists can assess, prescribe, and administer eligible contraceptives. Pharmacists must complete approved training before they can provide contraceptive assessments and prescribe birth control. Eligible prescription contraceptives include oral pills, hormonal patches, vaginal rings, and intramuscular injections. Pharmacists Manitoba has been advocating for this change, saying pharmacists already have the skill and training needed to provide the care.
The pharmacist often forms relationships with their patients, seeing them and their family for their medication needs many times a year. Pharmacists are a trusted source of reliable information and high-quality care. To now be able to help women with their reproductive health needs is an honor and a true win for Manitobans.
As of last Friday, more than 200 pharmacists have been authorized to provide this care. Eligible Manitobans with a valid health card can receive up to 3 contraceptive assessments from a pharmacist and up to 4 contraceptive injections each year at no cost. Manitobans are encouraged to contact their pharmacy to make sure the service is being offered. Over the weekend, a museum in St. James marked a special anniversary, decades in the making.
50 years is quite the milestone. Not everybody or every organization or every entity makes it to 50 years.
Dozens gathered together at the Living Prairie Museum on Saturday to celebrate 50 years in the community. City officials marked the milestone with the launch of a revitalization project for the 14-hectare tall grass prairie preserve. That's about 25 acres. Work will include new seating, signage, and learning gardens next to the interpretive center, in addition to an expansion to the museum's medicine garden. Staff say enhancements next to their interpretive center are greatly appreciated for everyone to enjoy the space.
One of them is right behind us here. We do have a new accessible pathway that's starting to work its way all the way around the building. That's going to allow wheelchair users, walker users, stroller users to get up close and personal with the prairie, the people who can't necessarily go on the existing trails.
Clinic says they are hopeful to have the Prairie for Everyone project work completed by this fall. More than 150 species of wildflowers and prairie grasses can be observed on site. Flamingos are thriving in a place that may seem unlikely to some. They're living in some wetlands in Bulgaria. They used to be a rare visitor, but now their population there is growing after their first successful breeding last year. Birdwatchers are also checking them out and noting the need to protect the country's rich wetlands. Winnipeg Blue Bombers quarterback Zach Collaros practiced with the team on Sunday as he continues to work his way back from a neck injury. TSN is reporting Collaros is expected to come off the 6-week injured list early, making him available to play against the Ottawa Red Blacks Friday here in Winnipeg. The 37-year-old Collaros was injured during the team's 14-13 narrow victory over the Hamilton Tiger Cats on July the 5th after he was sacked by Ticats linebacker Reggie Stubblefield in the second quarter. Canadian rookie quarterback Taylor Elgersma finished the game in relief of Collaros, and recently acquired pivot Drew Brown started the team's next 4 games, going 2-2. Collaros is in his 6th season in Winnipeg and helped the team to 2 Grey Cup titles and 4 Grey Cup appearances. We have some road closures to remind you about this morning. On Empress Street, the southbound curb lane will be closed from Saskatchewan to Wellington Avenue. The southbound median lane on Princess Street will be closed between William and McDermott Avenue, and both north and southbound curb lanes on Balmoral Street will be closed from Cumberland to Quappel Avenue.
Taking a look outside, 11 degrees here in Winnipeg, mainly clear skies with the wind out of the west at 9 clicks, pressure rising, humidity sitting at 97%. That sunlight looks absolutely beautiful. Maybe a little cloudier in parts of the west and south of here this morning, as you did see a few scattered showers roll through those regions. Maybe the odd lightning strike as well. A little cloudy up north. Here in Winnipeg this morning, though, very clear skies, and it's going to be much the same throughout most of the week. Now, taking a look up north today, high of 21 in Island Lake, little cloudier and chances of some showers in Gillam, 14 up in Churchill, chance of rain there. Thompson showing 21 degrees. I did see a slight chance of some showers there as well, so keep that in mind if you're heading out. In the northwest, temperatures hovering between 20 and 23. 23 in Norway House, plenty of sunshine there. Out in the west, highs of 24 in Brandon and Neepawa today. A little more cloudy there, but check out up in Dauphin, nice clear skies. High of 24 as well. Here in Winnipeg and the surrounding area, temperatures hovering, 23, 24 degrees. Mainly clear skies towards the east and just over the border in Ontario. Again, highs of 23, 24. That's pretty typical this time of year. As we take a look the rest of the week, 24 high pretty much every day, dipping down to 13 overnight. Now, as we get a little closer to the weekend, some chance of showers on Friday and Saturday before the sun returns on Sunday with a high of 24.
Thank you, Daniel. Let's check in now on Bo and Gabby at Bounce 99.9. Good morning, you two. Happy Monday.
Well, happy Monday and welcome back, Rochelle. I mean, my goodness, a 3-week vacation. When I used to do those, I'd come back and I'd bore people with movies or even worse, slides. But since I see you haven't got a slide projector handy, tell us about your holiday.
Oh my gosh, it was so lovely. It was the first week I got to chill at home, get ready and pack, and then we went to Blue Lakes, Manitoba, which is in the Duck Mountains. And of course, they've been hit so hard with some of the floodwaters, and the roads were closed. There was one road to access the area, and you really saw the resilience of people when you got there. So it was really lovely to be able to spend our holiday out in those parts, because at one point we weren't even sure if the road would be accessible. So it was really nice to get back down there and check things out. And we had 10 glorious days of hot heat, lots of sunshine. The beach was fabulous, and we just hung out and chilled, and it was just lovely. We had such a great time.
That sounds like the ideal holiday you had there, like absolute perfection, good weather to boot.
Absolutely.
Are you like in a tent, or are you tenting?
Well, they have the resort there. It's the Blue Lakes Resort with Archie and Dawn. So we got to stay in one of their cabins, and it's right on the lake. There's a bathroom, there's beds for the kids, and for us, it was just lovely. A little deck in case it rains, but we didn't get any rain. I think we got rain for 20 minutes on the beach. It just dirtied everything, and then we got to go back and just enjoy the rest of the day. It was just so lovely. The thing that wasn't lovely, though, with all that rain, lots of mosquitoes and black flies, but we managed. It was great. We loved it. It was a great time. How about you
Well,
guys?
there's always something, but
Yeah.
that sounds good. Well, Gabby just had 3 days off. What did you do?
You know what? We had no daycare on Friday, Rochelle, so we took our kid to the zoo. We're thinking he's 19 months. No, he's 20 months now, so we're thinking he'll really love the animals.
Yeah.
The animals he cared about, the Canada geese, wandering around the paths. I was like, I'm so glad we paid $50 for you to get excited about Canadian geese and ignore every other animal at Assiniboine Park Zoo. But great time, 12 out of 10 experience
memories
all around.
too. Absolutely. Well, that's great, you guys. It's good to see you. I'm glad to be back, and we'll see you on Wednesday. And nothing gets the blood pumping quite like being chased by a T-Rex. ABC's Danny New has more on some of weird competitions at the Ocho.
Welcome to the epicenter of reptilian races. ESPN once again kicks off its annual celebration of the world's most eccentric sports with a 4-day event known as the Ocho.
Estela Nunez, the fellow Brazil.
Competitions range anywhere from pillow fights
And T-Rex is away.
to an annual event known as the T-Rex World Championship Races.
You can hear why you won.
For the second year in a row, I flew out to Seattle to serve as the on-air host for the broadcast. Uh-oh! Who's here? While grabbing behind-the-scenes footage of the roughly 300 competitors who traveled to Emerald Downs Racetrack last month.
It's my dream to be here racing, and oh my God, look at me now, I'm here!
Folks traveled from all over the country to sprint in an inflatable T-Rex costume and try to win a giant trophy.
Are you going to win?
No, I'm going to finish.
And that is winning.
Including 79-year-old Lance here.
He ate me. Why'd you let him eat me?
And 4-year-old Weston, who liked watching me get eaten a lot more than the dog behind us.
Oh, and the leader fell.
Of course, it can be a little dangerous to run with a bunch of carnivores, which is why it helps to bring support. For example, Andy here saw her entire family show up sporting Andy T-Rex t-shirts.
Why'd you get everybody organized to do this?
Because we love Andy and we wanted to support her. We thought this was awesome.
But if you're still wondering, why do people go through so much effort to come rumble and stumble as reptiles? Well, I think 13-year-old Lucas here put it quite eloquently.
It's a great opportunity, and my mom forced me to do this, so.
That's a great reason to do anything.
In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
I don't know why I'm having so much fun watching that. I love it when they fall. All right, here's the look outside now at McPhillip Street. Things appear to be moving quite well to start off. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with your 7 o'clock headline. It's Monday, August the 10th. Today, weather losses. How severe storms drove insured losses past $840 million across the prairies. Plus, dairy talks. Why Canadian dairy farmers say supply management is staying off the table in U.S. trade talks. And cookie culture. 6 pavilions, 1 delicious lineup, and a pretty sweet way to celebrate Folklorama. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Monday to you. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. It's good to be back after 3 weeks off. And the kids don't think it's so great, though, because they know that if I'm back at work, school is just around the corner. In fact, it's about 3.5 weeks away. And so a lot of kids might not be following through their sleep routines. My kids sleep in late. They go to bed late. And a lot of kids aren't getting enough sleep. So we're going to find out how to get them back on track so that they're getting ready to fall back into those sleep routines before they go back to school.
Working this show, I don't know if we should be experts on sleep schedules, but we're going to bring one in, so
yes,
thank goodness.
That's coming up at 7:52, but when it's this beautiful and sunny outside, it's hard to sleep early at night.
Yeah, I tried to go to bed last night, and the sun was still out, and I mean, this time of year, we're getting around 9 o'clock when the sunset starts happening, but the sun is rising out right now, 11 degrees, mainly clear skies, wind out of the west at 9 clicks, pressure rising, humidity sitting at 97%. Fairly nice weekend over, at least out at the beach where I was. We had sun shining. Some friends here said it was a little bit cloudy, maybe a little cloudy west of us this morning. Some light showers rolling through the Brandon area earlier. Could see some showers in Morden and Winkler as well. Here in Winnipeg, though, fairly clear skies, as you saw on the Bathfitter Live Eye there. And as we move through the day, looking at the futurecast, pretty clear skies here in Winnipeg. Some clouds rolling in up north and to the west of us. Moving through the day, we could see some increasing cloud this evening here in Winnipeg, getting up to 24. It's going to cool off just a little bit into the later evening. Tomorrow morning, chance of some more showers through kind of the western part of the province. Could see a few showers here in Winnipeg, but hopefully not. Same up north, some scattered showers as we move into Wednesday. Taking a look at your 7-day forecast, highs of 24 basically today through Thursday, dipping down to 12, 13 degrees overnight. Now as we hit the weekend, chance of some showers Friday, chance of showers Saturday as well, but the sun returning and a high of 24 on Sunday. And our weather art of the day is from 9-year-old Rafa. Folks, we need your weather art. Get your kids drawing something today. And to submit it, head to our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form. Your art can be shown on Your Morning Winnipeg, and we'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift card from Crockadoodle on Kenaston.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crockadoodle Paint Your Own Pottery, now open on Regent and Kenaston.
Extreme weather has impacted nearly every part of our country this summer. In the prairies, widespread flooding caused significant damage to several communities, with insurance claims adding up. CTV's Alex Carpa on what the insured losses total so far.
The water levels have gone down, but the impact remains. Weeks after heavy rains flooded parts of southern Manitoba, communities are continuing to confront the damage head on.
I would say it is one of the craziest years.
The Swan Valley region in southwestern Manitoba was among the hardest hit. Major flooding damaged hundreds of roads, bridges, culverts, and homes.
Lots of people had water in the basements, and some people were lucky and only had a couple inches, but some people had a basement right full. Certainly there was huge amounts of damage in those cases.
In addition to cleanup, Gade says many residents have been continuing to assess damages and have been filing insurance claims. According to the Insurance Bureau of Canada, insured losses from 2 days of severe weather in June in both Manitoba and Saskatchewan have climbed over $840 million, up from all of 2025, which saw around $760 million in losses, mostly due to wildfires.
The losses that you saw in Manitoba, Saskatchewan are from wind, water, hail, right, over a very short period of time.
Liam McGinty says billion-dollar weather disasters are now becoming increasingly common across Canada.
The next question is, have we done enough to adapt to this new normal? And in our view as an industry, we've not done nearly enough as a country.
McGinty is urging provincial and federal governments to start investing in better infrastructure to protect Canadians from these extreme events, conditions that John Hanesiak says have been felt across the prairies.
We're on track to potentially break records for, at least for the Canadian prairies, for severe weather reports and events. So we're still putting together the numbers, but we could potentially break some records this summer.
Hanesiak warns the active weather pattern could continue through the rest of the summer and into the fall. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
For the third time in less than a year, emergency crews were dispatched to reports of a fire at a downtown Winnipeg restaurant Saturday. This was the scene Saturday afternoon at the Bougie restaurant, formerly at 191 Main Street. Just before 6 a.m., Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service responded to the scene where crews found heavy smoke coming from the building. Fire crews arranged an emergency demolition of the building to ensure they could fully extinguish the blaze. The Bougie restaurant was previously damaged by fire on August 2nd, and arson was determined as the cause in its original fire last October. No injuries were reported. The fire is currently under investigation. 25 years after 9/11, families of the victims are reportedly divided over whether New York's current mayor should attend the annual remembrance. Mayor Zoran Mamdani is New York's first Muslim mayor, says he plans to attend the 9/11 memorial at Ground Zero. But some victims' families are opposed, pointing to his political ideology and identity. Others say the anniversary should bring people together and keep the focus on those who were lost. 25 years later, millions of Americans have no first-hand memory of 9/11, but people will once again gather at Ground Zero to remember. Canadian dairy farmers say they've been assured the supply management system that protects Canadian dairy isn't on the table in trade talks with the U.S.
He told the Americans that supply management was not going to be talked about and that he's not going to give any more concessions.
Supply management is a system that controls the supply and prices of dairy products and helps ensure a more stable income for farmers in this country. The White House has been a critic, saying the system amounts to unfair protectionism that bars American farmers from the Canadian market. It's also been called an irritant in trade negotiations. Winnipeggers looking to tap into the rich history of the province spent some time this weekend celebrating a 131-year-old house.
We hope to continue this tradition on going forward into the future as well.
Back for the third year in what's become an annual tradition, Dalnevert Museum downtown opened its doors for free to the public. Museum staff arranged a rummage and bake sale. A maker market featuring local crafters and performances were held inside the decades-old home. Organizers say there were a lot of new visitors to the house, but for those who keep coming back, it never gets old stepping back in time.
I think people love coming and walking through the house because it is so different from today. So a lot has changed since 1895, and so it really does feel like a different time period and being like a time traveler and seeing what the past would have been like.
Watkins says weekends like this offer visitors a taste test of all the different programming the Dalnevert Museum features throughout the year, not just in the summertime. Enthusiasm for this festival is really gaining steam.
These engines are the guys that pulled the plows that broke the prairie sod back in the early 1900s.
Alberta's Pioneer Steam Power Festival happened over the weekend. Even though steam engines have been around for a long time, many people have never seen some of the tech on display. For example, a restored steam roller at this year's festival is one of only 10 such machines found around the world. The festival is also a showcase for Alberta's Pioneer Acres Museum. Here's a look outside now. What's happening on Osborne Street? Things appear to be quite light on the drive in this part of the city right now. If you experience any issues out there, please send us a text to let us know.
Barrick Mining says it has reached an agreement with Newmont on their Nevada joint venture, opening the way for the Canadian company to list its North American assets in New York. Under the agreement announced Monday, Newmont will pay Barrick $1.95 billion as the companies contribute previously excluded properties to the venture, including Barrick's 4 Mile project and Newmont's Fiberline and Mike developments. Barrick also announced Mark Hill as chief executive officer of its planned North American spinoff. A new report says the average national asking rent fell 4% in July compared with last year and now stands at just over $2,000, $2,037. That marks the 22nd consecutive month of year-over-year declines in the average cost being sought by landlords, according to the latest monthly analysis from Rentals.ca and Urban Nation. The asking rents have now fallen 7.5% over the past 2 years. Those are your morning business headlines. For B&M Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
It's week 2 of Folklorama. Everything has been switched over to new pavilions, and this morning Ainsley is visiting the Hungry Pannonia Pavilion. Good morning, Ainsley.
Hello, good morning, Manitoba. I think these might be my favorite 2 weeks of the year because when else can you sit with so many different people from so many different cultures every single day and start the day with fried bread? Take a look at that. And the meal options here at the Hungry Pavilion, you're going to get some new options this year, some fabulous cocktails. We're going to be chatting about that coming up in our next segment, some of which can be made into mocktails as well. But we teased this a little bit in the last segment. Dessert. I could not forget about dessert. Look at this gorgeous custard. And secondly, another cake, boomsies, layered with a rum base too. There's some rum on the bottom of that. So stay with us throughout the morning. You also can head to the market. Look at this paprika, of course, a signature spice in the Hungarian culture. And we're going to learn about some of that importance too. I'm a little overwhelmed by all the food and drink here in a good way.
It looks like a good breakfast to start the day. All right, thank you. Let's go out to the rooftop now. The sun is shining bright this morning and it will continue. Good morning.
Good morning. It is sunny, what an hour, or what a difference an hour makes. But sunny skies to start the day, about 12 degrees outside in Winnipeg right now. Basically clear skies, light winds out of the west at 11 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, humidity sitting at 97%. Much of the province the same this morning. Temperatures hovering between 10 and 14 degrees. Maybe a little bit of rain just south of us in the Morden Winkler area early this morning. But fairly clear skies here in Winnipeg today. We're going to get up to a high of 24 this afternoon. Seasonal average is 26, so we're right below that threshold. Basically what we saw last week, fairly clear skies, decent amount of sunshine in the afternoon, but those temperatures not punishing like we saw a few weeks ago. In the evening, cooling off just a little bit, getting down to 13 tonight. Again, right around the seasonal average temperatures for this time of August. So if you are heading out tonight, you may want to bring along a sweater or a light jacket because it does cool off a little bit. But for now, the sun is shining. It looks like a great day ahead.
Weather is brought to you by the Better Business Bureau. Research at bbb.org before you buy.
Thank you, Daniel. It's time now for a question of the day. Today is National Spoil Your Dog Day. So we want to know, what's your favorite way to spoil your dog? You can text your answer to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. And don't forget to include your name, please, and a photo if you have.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic. Science-backed body contouring.
At Your Morning Winnipeg, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, whether they're furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions are amazing. We want to see more, whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals. Send them our way, please. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and then catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. All right, we're going to take a look outside now at Petavache Bridge. Things are moving quite nicely to start off this Monday morning. It's a gorgeous start to the day. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Good morning. A fisherman in Selkirk has quite the tale to tell after hooking an unusual catch around 3 Thursday afternoon. RCMP say the man was fishing on the waterfront when he caught a grenade. The Manitoba RCMP Explosives Disposal Unit contacted the Canadian Armed Forces to analyze the item. It was determined to be a training grenade from the 1950s. No safety pin was attached, and it was deemed safe to move for disposal. RCMP are reminding the public not to touch, move, or disturb any object that appears to be an explosive device. Improvements are on the way for St. Vital Duck Pond. As you can see, the pond is looking a little green, due in part to how shallow it is. The city says next year it will be dredged and some areas naturalized to help prevent geese from flocking there. The park is also getting some new paving, including better pathways throughout the area. The total cost of the revitalization is pegged at just shy of $3.4 million, on top of $1.2 million for roads. If you're looking for a tasty treat in support of Folklorama, a St. James bakery has got you covered.
Because we've been doing this for 3 years now, they wait for us to open up orders, and they're very excited to come get them.
The team at High Tea Bakery on Portage Avenue has been keeping up with the demand for state-of-the-art Folklorama desserts, a collaboration in its third year. Staff designed costume-inspired cookies based on Folklorama's team choosing 6 pavilions to be represented in icing. This year, South Sudan, Punjab, El Salvador, Ukraine, Spain, and Japan cookies were made with care, with portions of the proceeds from cookie sales going back to the Folklorama Cultural Preservation Fund. Staff say it's a unique process making these using a process called edible image printing.
In this case, for the Folklorama cookies, we are assigned the pavilions, and then Belinda, our owner, hand designs from scratch all of the different outfits for those 6 pavilions. They're designed, they get printed onto the cookie, and then our wonderful studio staff go back in and they hand detail with piping.
About 3 dozen of these cookies are made each day based on the time it takes for the design process. Aaron Jarzin says the limited time treats will be available until Saturday at the bakery. Here's a look outside now at the St. James Bridge. Looks like things are moving quite well starting off. If you encounter any issues on your drive this morning, please send us a text to let us know when it is safe and legal to do so. Spider-Man is soaring to new heights at the box office. The web slinger's latest movie continuing to rake millions in theaters around the world.
But you're in danger. You just have to trust me.
Spider-Man Brand New Day brought in another $145 million US at the weekend box office, recording the third biggest second weekend of all time in North America. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey earned another $31.5 million and crossed the $1 billion mark worldwide. Newcomer rom-com One Night Only landed in third with $5.7 million in ticket sales. Imagine driving down a road, looking at a billboard, and seeing someone living in it. There's a performer living inside a billboard in LA right now. It's part of a promotion for the new movie, The Last House, starring Wagner Moura and Greta Lee. The stunt is working with people swinging by to interact with the guy. He performed with the likes of Alice Cooper, Streetheart, and Gene Simmons, and now an internationally acclaimed drummer's career is coming full circle with a special honor from the city of Winnipeg.
I'm just a kid from the neighborhood.
The block where Brent Fitz grew up in Crestview and where his parents lived until 2020 will now bear his name. Bella Vista Crescent between Voyageur Avenue and Rogan Drive is being given the name of Brent Fitz Way. The connection Fitz continues to have with the city and the street led to the honorary street renaming.
I think I was on tour with Theory of a Dead Man, and my mom was like, if you need to do laundry, come on by. So we brought the tour bus down here. I think we banged the street sign, and the tour bus came down here. It was wintertime, and I got stuck, and it was a whole nightmare, but I'll never forget my mom was like, pretty cool.
Oh, that's great. Fans have the chance to see Fitz and his band Took when they perform at the Burt Block Party Saturday, August 15th. Your Monday primetime lineup kicks off at 7 tonight with American Ninja Warrior. Following at 9, catch the quiz with balls. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
12 degrees outside in Winnipeg right now. Fairly clear skies with light winds out of the west at 11 clicks. Pressure rising, humidity sitting at 97%. No tour buses getting stuck this weekend here in Winnipeg. Going to be beautiful temperatures throughout. Taking a look around the province right now. Out to our west, 13 degrees in Brandon. Some light showers earlier this morning. A little cooler up in Roblin at 8 degrees. Here in Winnipeg, as I mentioned, 12 degrees. Much of the same in Sprague. 13 in Pinawa. 15 just over the border in Kenora. Up north, 15 as well in Island Lake. 11 degrees in Churchill this hour. And to the northwest, 12 degrees in Flin Flon and Lynn Lake. Here in Winnipeg today, we are looking at a high of around 24 degrees. A little bit of rain south of us this morning and west of us as well. We shouldn't see that in Winnipeg. We could see some rain later this week in parts of central and northern Manitoba. Some scattered showers, even a lightning strike or two is possible today. Here in the city, though, getting up to 15 in the next hour or so. Those winds shifting a little bit to the northwest, 20 kilometers per hour this afternoon. As we move towards 5 o'clock, getting up to our daytime high of 24. Going to feel a little closer to 27 with the humidex. As we move into the evening, though, we'll see some clouds roll in, dipping down to 13 overnight. Tomorrow, much of the same. Mix of sun and cloud in the afternoon, highs of 24, and that's right through till Friday when we see a chance of rain that night as well as on Saturday. Plenty of sunshine on Sunday with a high of 24. Weather pick of the day comes from Shelley up in Faulkner during their community celebration this weekend. Beautiful shot there. Keep those pictures coming to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
August 10th, 1876. Alexander Graham Bell made the first long-distance call from his residence in Brantford to his assistant in Paris, Ontario, 13 kilometers away. The call was preceded 7 days earlier by the first telephone call from one building to another between Bell and his uncle. August 10th, 2020. Winnipeg lawyer Aisha Khan is named to be the new head of the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. She became the first woman and the first person of color in the post. The museum's board had apologized after an external report found systemic racism and other mistreatment was pervasive at the institution. August 10th, 2021. Manitoba Premier Brian Pallister said he was leaving politics. Pallister made the comments during a caucus retreat in Brandon. The Premier had been under fire over the preceding month for comments he made about Canadian history and Indigenous people.
Canadians are being urged to roll up their sleeves as the country's blood supply experiences a summer slump. Donations have improved since the shortfall was flagged last month, but as Maria Saru reports, there are concerns bookings could drop off again.
From the questionnaire to the needle and the snacks afterward, each blood donation adds to a supply that can only be stored for about 6 weeks. But in the summertime, more of these chairs can go empty.
Sometimes when people are on vacation and enjoying the summer and making summer memories, sometimes keeping an appointment or just having blood donation isn't necessarily front of mind.
On July 22nd, Canadian Blood Services posted an announcement saying donors were needed now, after the national blood supply fell nearly 20%, with appointments falling short. In a statement sent to CTV News on August 5th, a spokesperson said appointments were back within the optimal range of about 18,000 a week, and inventory had improved for some blood types. However, the need continues, especially heading into late August and the September long weekend, when bookings tend to dip. If inventory falls far enough, the impact can reach patients.
A shortage of blood may mean that there's surgeries are canceled, or the treatments and different things like that may have to be canceled.
Regional Development Manager Stephen Empringham says Canada is nowhere near that point. But over the last decade, the share of eligible Canadians donating blood has fallen by half, from about 4 to 2%. Reversing that trend will mean bringing new donors to centres like this one. Canadian Blood Services is encouraging first-timers to book with friends or family members for a more fun and easy experience. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Coming up, Ainsley is live this morning at the Hungry Pannonia Pavilion. We're going to find out about the drink, the food, and all the other celebrations. Stay with us. Ainsley is continuing her journey around the world this week by visiting the Hungry Pannonia Pavilion this morning. Hi, Ainsley.
Good morning. Food is a conversation starter, and it's a good time to have conversations with people. Folklorama might be the best time to do that too, because one, there's amazing options, but it ignites memories. Lizzie, thank you for being here with me today. Tell us about some of those memories with you. We were just chatting off camera.
Yeah, we were just talking about some of the noodles that we were making. My mom and I used to always make noodles together when we were young, and the ones that we sell at the market, which now we don't have to hand make anymore, we would do that together. You had a chopstick. It looked like a chopstick. It was your little roller, and then you'd have your little board that had lines on it. It was perforated, and so I have memories every time I see those noodles. I think about that time when I was young and made noodles with my mom.
Ugh, I love Folklorama. Thank you so much for sharing that. You have brought, we've added, I feel like every time we're in a segment, we're adding new things. You've brought some beverages for us here.
We have. We like to innovate every single year and make sure we bring something new, because we do have a lot of guests that come and visit us every single year and want to make sure that there's something there that pairs beautifully with food, but something new to try. Last year, we introduced a cultural beer. It is made here locally. We partnered with Oxus and Baltic Brothers. They've made something that's very similar to a Hungarian beer because we can't import it, only because they don't have preservatives in it, which means it won't last. So we have a really great local option. We've also branched out with some of our cocktails as well, and our newest one is the chimney cake latte. Espresso martinis are all the rage right now. I'm sure you've noticed if you go out to bars and restaurants. This is our twist on it, and it is delightful. It's made with a Hungarian spirit. There's a hint of cinnamon and vanilla, and it is beautiful to have before you have any food, but it also pairs beautifully with some of the savory foods that we have because it's a nice contrast. We have our plum daiquiri, and while daiquiris are not Hungarian, we have our own twist on it. So it's made with a plum base spirit, which we're using Slivovic. It is Croatian because we couldn't get the Hungarian version this year. We top it off with a little bit of syrup and then, of course, some soda. This one can also be made into a mocktail if people do not want to partake. The spiced Kurtesh is made with a pear brandy, which we have showcased here. It's very sweet, so we've offset it with some spices. You can also top it off with soda, and there's a little secret recipe in there to make the rest of it. And again, this can also be made into a mocktail. The cherry red fruit, this is made with cherry bomba, made by the Baltic Brothers. It's similar to cherry liqueur that we make in Hungary. along with some red wine and a little bit of soda. That one unfortunately can't be made mocktail,
We're
but
out of
this one
time.
can.
I'm sorry, but that can too. Okay, yeah, and it's raspberry. Back to you.
It all looks so good. Okay, thank you. And it looks good outside too, Daniel.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful start to the day here in Winnipeg, and it's going to get nicer and nicer. 12 degrees outside, mainly clear skies. Wind out of the west at 11 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, humidity sitting at 97%. Now to the south and southwest of us, you may have seen some showers this morning. Kind of rolling through though, missing Winnipeg, Brandon and the surrounding area. May have even seen a few stray lightning strikes this morning. Central and northern Manitoba could see a few showers as well as we move through your Monday here in Winnipeg, though a high of 24 this afternoon. Going to feel closer to 27 with the humidex. 26 is a seasonal average, so we're right around that threshold right now, or in store for today. There we go. Wind out of the northwest at 20 this afternoon. A mix of sun cloud as we move into the evening. A little more cloud rolling in, dipping down to 13 degrees. Wind shifting a little bit out of the south at 10 kilometers per hour. Tomorrow, pretty much the same as we're seeing today. A high of 24, a mix of sun and cloud. Only difference is winds coming out of the south as opposed to the northwest, but mix of sun and cloud. As we move into to the rest of the week, pretty much the same. We could see some hazy skies with some smoke coming in, but when we hit the weekend, that's when we could see a chance of showers both Friday evening into Saturday, but the sunshine returning on Sunday with a high, again, of 24.
Tributes are pouring in at the news. Ilea McIver, a well-known advocate for the MMIW G2S community, has died. In an Instagram post, Families Minister Nahani Fontaine honored McIver, saying she created spaces where families were seen, celebrated, and held. Fontaine went on to say Ilea was a valued member of the Matriarch Circle who made sure to advocate for Two-Spirit and trans relatives. McIver was interviewed on CTV Morning Live Winnipeg in 2025 to advocate for a pilot project to launch a red dress alert program. It would function as an Indigenous-led alert program to be activated when Indigenous women and girls, trans, and Two-Spirit individuals go missing. Canadian negotiators are back in Washington this week for another round of trade talks. Industry sources tell CTV News Ottawa is considering making some concessions on U.S. autos and American alcohol. This in exchange for the U.S. dropping 50% tariffs set to take effect August 19th. These new tariffs are coming even though Canada has already made concessions, such as scrapping the digital service tax and lifting some counter tariffs. As trade talks intensify, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has written a letter accusing Prime Minister Mark Carney of caving to U.S. demands. The letter says in part, quote, "Our message is clear. We want to win and the good deal you promised 15 months ago. Canadians deserve a government that has the backbone to fight for our workers, our families, and every inch of our sovereignty." As flames spread and more fires start, air quality across BC is another major concern.
Run out of breath a lot quicker. It feels like your lungs can't absorb the oxygen they need. And yeah, I think you can still get out and move for sure and just take it easy and don't go crazy.
Much of the province remains under air quality warnings, with healthcare professionals advising everyone to avoid spending too much time outside. Organizers canceled a triathlon that was scheduled for Kelowna this past weekend due to the smoke. A toddler in Maple Ridge, BC is expected to make a full recovery after being attacked by a bear. The 3-year-old girl was in her backyard when the animal mauled her. The child's father was able to fend off the bear, and the child was airlifted to hospital in Vancouver. RCMP shot the animal, but say it fled to the woods. Mounties say once the bear is found, it will be destroyed. They're the persistent scourge of waterways and lakes across the continent. Zebra mussels are now in Lake Winnipeg, and more recently, they've been found in Lake of the Prairies. But as one community is demonstrating, that doesn't mean a shoreline is lost forever.
It was important to us as a community to figure out a way to bring back the beauty at Hillside Beach.
Until recently, zebra mussels were piled 6 to 8 inches high along much of Hillside Beach. So last summer, the Hillside Beach Community Association organized an army of volunteers. More than 100 people helped clear the zebra mussels away. The group also partnered with the province to first rent equipment and then purchase this tractor with a beach cleaner. The zebra mussels, scraped from the sand in quantity, are dumped in piles well away from the water. Now the Hillside Beach crew is asking boaters to do their part always and everywhere to keep zebra mussels from spreading.
We've got over 90% compliance from the public, from the boating public. So when I hear people say, well, you know, it's all inevitable, it won't work, the statistics say otherwise.
The province has also partnered with other communities near the Paw and Cranberry Portage area, and they're also working with Norway House First Nation doing similar sorts of things. For the first time in their franchise history, the Winnipeg Sea Bears are Western Conference champions. Sea Bears guard Isaiah Osborne nailed a closing three-point shot on the road on Saturday over the Vancouver Bandits for a final score of 107-96. After earning their first ever franchise playoff win on Thursday, the Winnipeg squad doubled down. The team will now compete for their first ever Canadian Elite Basketball League title when they take on the Brampton Honey Badgers in a best-of-3 series. Game 1 starts on Wednesday in Brampton before they return to Canada Life Centre on Saturday for Game 2. We have some road closures to remind you about this morning on Empress Street. The southbound curb lane will be closed from Saskatchewan to Wellington Avenue. The southbound median lane on Princess Street will be closed between William and McDermott Avenue. And both north and southbound curb lanes on Balmoral Street will be closed from Cumberland to Quappel Avenue. If you have any other traffic tips, send us a text, please. And here's a look at your gas prices. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.66. We're seeing a slight decrease compared to last week. And the lowest price in the city is $1.56. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your car today.
Right now outside, it is 12 degrees. It is sunny, and it's a gorgeous start to your Monday morning. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this.
Start to the work week here in Winnipeg. 12 degrees outside right now, mainly clear skies. The wind out of the west at 11 clicks. Pressure rising, humidity sitting at 97%. It's pretty beautiful, as I just mentioned. But to our south and to the west, some light showers this morning. Expected to taper off up north and in central parts of Manitoba. You could see some showers as we move through Monday. Let's take a look at those temperatures. High of 14 in Churchill today with that chance of some showers. Gillam, high of 17. In Thompson, 21. Now you could see some showers there as well. Environment Climate Change Canada is showing a system that is moving through the north, but fairly scattered in the northwest. Fairly sunny skies throughout the entire region. High of 19 in Lynn Lake. High of 23 down in the Paw, as well as 22 in Norway House. To our west out in Brandon and the surrounding area, 24 there. Bit more cloud coverage. You could see some hazy smoke coming in from Saskatchewan as well, but 24 degrees throughout that entire region. 24 here in Winnipeg and basically everywhere around us as well. Sunnier north of us, a little cloudier to the south down in Sprague, high of 23. Over the border in northwest Ontario, highs of 24 in Dryden and Fort Francis as well. As we look through your work week, highs of 24 much of the week, dipping down to 13 overnight. Chances of some showers Friday and Saturday as we move into the weekend, and a high of 24 on sunny and sunny on Sunday.
Thank you, Daniel. Let's go now to Ainsley, who's live at the Hungry Pannonia Pavilion this morning. And there's lots going on there this week and some new things, too. Good morning.
Especially when you come to Folklorama and you go to the market, you can go, oh, I didn't get this last year. My personal favorite is the noodles. Of course, I asked Lizzie a noodle question immediately at our food segment, but you can actually pick some up.
Absolutely. So our noodles are egg noodles. They can't be beat. We've got different kinds that you can use in different dishes. The log noodles we use as if it's fettuccine or spaghetti, but they go really well in soups. And the noodles that I talked to you about that I made with my mom, we call them in Hungarian, it's chiga, which translates to snail. Amazing in chicken noodle soup. So whatever type of soup you're making, they are fantastic.
And paprika is a huge staple in Hungarian culture.
It is. It's the foundational spice that we have. And so we have a few different kinds. We've brought in regular sweet. We've got some smoked paprika as well, because some dishes obviously call for a deeper flavor. And of course, it also exists in a lot of the paste that we have. So you can use it in eggs, in any type of meat dishes. So if you're, let's say, going to be marinating some steaks, you could put that in there. But even as a mix, if you're making hamburgers, it gives a really great flavor. And of course, it always adds some beautiful coloring to your food.
Now we're doing a walk and talk. Rochelle had mentioned some of the new things that we could get. Tell us about this chestnut dessert.
So the chestnut puree, I remember having this with my friend Sylvia. It was the first time I ever had it here in Canada. It was very rare to find, but it looks like you basically would put it through a ricer, or if you were going to be decorating a cake, you can use one of those to beautifully present it in a dish and add a little bit of whipping cream on top. But of course, you could also use it in desserts. And Vanessa joked about putting it in macaroons, which you probably can.
Oh man, I like the whipped cream on top too. That's fun. Yeah. Anything else that people can pick up? I even see jewelry here.
Absolutely. We've brought in a lot of items from Hungary. We've got handmade jewelry that's made out of wood. We've brought in some skirts and some shoes. We also brought in phyllo pastry this year, and then the custard mix. So if you love our crémèche, you can actually try it at home. It's really easy to make, and it tastes almost as authentic as if it was handmade from scratch.
Why should people come to this pavilion when there's so many?
There are so many pavilions. Hungarian culture is not very well known. We're a very small community. I think there's maybe 5,000 of us in Winnipeg. There are no Hungarian restaurants. And while you could pick up some of these pieces at various butcher shops, this is a unique place to be able to get it. We like to try it. We've got folks who are very passionate about culture. We like to taste test, and we only bring in those items that we would serve at home to our families, but also to our guests and friends who come over.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to try it for breakfast. Back to you.
Okay, thank you. A glimmer of hope for young people in this country seeking work. After facing one of the toughest job markets in more than a decade, the unemployment rate for this age group has edged down for a third straight month. Here's CTV's Kamil Karamali with what may be driving the hiring surge.
In a place where everyone is always on the move, the biggest shift this summer at this Toronto trampoline park might just be how many teens are applying to work here.
We're seeing anywhere from 500 to 1,000 applicants just for one flight crew role.
Good job, good job. One of those was 17-year-old Abdul Qadir Saeed, part of a growing number of young people across Canada to land a job these past few months.
I showed my mom, I was shocked. I was like, no way I got hired here.
Youth unemployment rates continue to drop across the country. Take a look at last July's numbers for ages 15 to 24, dropping from 14.5% now down to 12.5% for this July. And for returning students, that's those who have summers off, going from 17.5% now down to just over 15%.
Youth unemployment is still very high. It's almost twice as high as the overall unemployment rate, but it's down significantly over the last few months, and it's certainly headed in the right direction.
Job experts say the initial shock from the U.S. trade war seems to be wearing off. Employers now feeling more confident in hiring youth after seeing the economy remain stable.
And what business wants more than anything is exactly that, is stability. Boring at times is good for business.
Especially in industries that employ a large share of young workers, like restaurants, retail, and summer tourism. We may now also be seeing the effects of Ottawa reducing permits for international students and temporary workers.
Those entry-level positions typically have been a bit more heavily weighted towards new Canadians.
But at this Toronto bike shop, you won't find many youth working here, a reminder that some businesses are still reeling from a shaky economy.
We've needed to shift our focus and actually support our full-time workers, allowing them to keep their positions year-round, and we've been hiring less youth.
Hoping to ride out the bumpy road ahead before opening more doors to new workers. Kamil Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
So celebrating a milestone today. Happy 65th birthday, Connie. Wishing you a great day and much love from Hannah, Phoebe, Ollie, Hank, and Ruben. Happy birthday, Val, with love from your family. And a happy 9th birthday, Jackson, love from your mom. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
Our high of 24 degrees today is just a notch below the seasonal average of 26 and right in line with what we saw last year, but 35.2 degrees back in 1988. Now, a lot of people love that heat. I'm pretty happy with these temperatures we've been seeing this week and what we saw last week as well. Sun is hiding behind City Place right now and maybe a few clouds to our east rolling in, but this is kind of what we're going to see today. Fairly clear skies, getting up, as I mentioned, 24 degrees. The wind out of the west right now at 11. It's going to move slightly to the northwest up to about 20 kilometers per hour this afternoon. 24, but yeah, going to feel closer to 27 with the humidex. Much of the same around the rest of the southern Manitoba today with temperatures 22, 23, 24. Chance of some showers up north and in central parts of the province, but seasonal average temperatures for most of the week here in Manitoba. Not a lot of extreme or severe weather expected, though we could see a little bit of smoke rolling in from the west as we move through the week. But that high of 24 today, perfect morning to get outside, grab a cup of coffee, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Most students are heading back to school in just a few weeks' time, and there's a lot for parents to tackle before kids hit the books. But one thing often overlooked, hitting the hay. And one expert says getting kids back into a sleep routine should be a part of your family's back-to-school routine. Joining us now is sleep expert Amanda Jewson. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Now, first off, after 2 months of summer, schedules are all over the place. Why should sleep be a part of a family's back-to-school checklist?
This is such a great question. Well, number one, 3 in 10 Canadian children are not getting enough sleep, full stop. That's before the summer insanity has hit. And you hit the nail right on the head. Summer schedules are off. We're all tending to go to bed later. We also wake later. So we actually call this social jet lag. So I'm just outside of Toronto. It means being in Toronto, for example, on Vancouver time. So if all of a sudden, day one, you're a kid, your parents tell you, you've been going to bed all summer at 10, we're going to bed at 8, that's going to be really hard for that kiddo to fall asleep. And on the other side, wake up in the morning and start the day refreshed. So if we know that 3 in 10 kids are going to school without the sleep they need, you add on summer insanity, it's kind of a recipe to show up to school exhausted.
Right, and so what's a shortfall? What do kids need and at what age when it comes to sleep?
Great question. So most kids need anywhere from 8 to 12 hours of overnight sleep, depending on their age and stage. Now that's a pretty big range, but we know that this actually shows up in the classroom. A McGill study showed that kids without that 8 to 12 hours, when we added 18 minutes of sleep. 18 minutes of sleep. Kids reported better report cards, specifically in math and English. Sleep efficiency, so that means falling asleep easy and staying asleep all night, was associated with marked improvement on report cards. So we know that if your kids are not getting that 8, I would say 8 for the older kids, up to 12 for our kindergarten kids, they may be impacting their classroom performance.
And obviously they're on summer break right now, so when should parents start adjusting their kids' sleep schedules?
Yeah, ideally I'd like to see something. It's August 10th now. That gives us around 3 to 4 weeks, depending on where you are, to really get up and go. So it actually doesn't have to be something so crazy, and we have a lot of time to do this. So I always recommend starting by moving 15 minutes at a time. So 15 minutes earlier for bed, 15 earlier minutes in the morning as well. You can't put a kiddo to sleep who has slept in all morning. So make sure you're waking them and anchoring the morning. You can do things right now, like re-implement those routines: bed, bath, book. Get rid of the screens in your room. Computers, iPads, phones are all out of the room. And really think about, we have a month to go. Think about the environment your kiddos are sleeping on and in. Sheets, pillows, mattresses. If your kiddo is sleeping on grandma's mattress from 1983, it's probably not cutting it. And there are Canadian options like the ND Petite that really focuses on school-age kids. So it's those environmental factors can make all the difference, and you have a lot of time to make slow, steady change now.
Okay, and so then obviously we do kind of know this already. Sleep impacts everything, especially learning. They'll do better in school, right?
Truly, yeah. And I mean, the best, most reassuring part, I love quoting this McGill study, because I think with any behavior change, with any big change for families, we think it needs to be big, grand, sweeping. We need to be adding hours and hours. That's really hard. That's hard for adults to do. It's hard for families to change their whole every day.
Right.
But this study showed 18 minutes, adding 18 minutes. That's, removing one show at the end of the night. That's starting just a little bit early. It can make all the difference.
All right. Well, thanks, Amanda, for sharing this with us. Good reminders.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Hi, everyone. Mark Rowe inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Sunday. And for that, we're going to go to Philly as the Blue Jays were taking on the Phillies. It was tied in the extras, 11th inning, bases loaded for Luis Arraez, who lines one to Nathan Lucas, who comes up throwing, and he guns out Garrett Stubbs to end the inning. What an incredible throw by Lucas. Unfortunately for the Blue Jays, they'd come up short and lose this one, but Nathan Lucas still earns your must-see moment from Sunday. And tonight on TSN, we've got Toronto Tempo basketball as they take on the Atlanta Dream. Tip-off is at 8 p.m. Eastern across the TSN network. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
The TSN must-see moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
It's Monday, August the 10th. Saturday morning blaze. The building that housed a downtown restaurant burns for a third time in less than a year. This time, demolition is ordered. Costly weather in just a few days in June. Rain, hail, and wind lead to sky-high insurance claims this year in Manitoba. And who needs a restaurant? This entrepreneur simply pops open the trunk of his smart car and pops out the pies while parked just about anywhere. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Happy Monday. It is 8 o'clock. Thank you so much for being with us. Now, I wanted to give a shout out to one of our loyal and big fans. This is Tony Kowalik. He's 87 and a half years old. He watches our show, and he is a fan of the show. I met him in the Duck Mountains. He was up in the Blue Lakes Resort getting some ice cream. They have great ice cream there. And he came down there, and apparently he wanted to meet me because he heard that I was in town. And so I took a picture with him. He's probably watching right now. I hope he's watching right now. There have been a lot of devastation in those parts, of course, in Dauphin with the flooding, and in Blue Lakes, and in Welland Lakes, and so there was a lot going on. So hello, Tony.
Hi,
I'm
Tony.
hoping you're watching. Thank you so much for being a fan, and it's going to be a beautiful day today.
Yeah, absolutely. If you like seasonal averages, not a lot of unpredictability, I have some great news for you this week. Right now, though, 12 degrees here in Winnipeg. Mainly clear skies. Wind out of the west at 11 clicks. Pressure rising. Humidity sitting at 97%. You can set your clock to the temperatures this week. 24 degrees highs basically throughout the entire week here in Winnipeg. This morning, some scattered showers to our south in the Morton Winkler area. A little earlier than that out in Brandon. Chance of some stray lightning strikes as well. Parts of the north and central Manitoba could see some of that later today. But as we take a look at your futurecast, pretty clear skies here in southeast Manitoba. Some clouds rolling in up north, and as I mentioned, we could see some scattered showers throughout parts of the northern and central Manitoba. Now tomorrow morning, another storm rolling through from Saskatchewan, and that could hit parts of Manitoba. Again, it's probably not going to hit us here in Winnipeg, though. As we move into Wednesday, we could see a few very scattered showers here in Winnipeg, some clouds up north midweek. As we look through the rest of the week, as I mentioned, 24-degree highs pretty much all week until we hit the weekend, where we could see some scattered showers Friday and Saturday. Our weather art of the day is from 9-year-old Rafa. We are running out of art. We need you to get your kids maybe drawing us a picture today, and then you can go to our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, fill out the form. Your art can be shown on Your Morning Winnipeg, and we'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift card from Crockadoodle on Kenaston and Regent.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crockadoodle Paint Your Own Pottery, now open on Regent and Kenaston.
For the third time in less than a year, emergency crews were dispatched to reports of a fire at a downtown Winnipeg restaurant Saturday. This was the scene Saturday afternoon at the Bougie restaurant, formerly at 191 Main Street. Just before 6 a.m., Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service responded to the scene where crews found heavy smoke coming from the building. Fire crews arranged an emergency demolition of the building to ensure they could fully extinguish the blaze. The Bougie restaurant was previously damaged by fire on August the 2nd, and arson was determined as the cause in its original fire last October. No injuries were reported. The fire is currently under investigation. Extreme weather has impacted nearly every part of our country this summer. In the prairies, widespread flooding caused significant damage to several communities, with insurance claims adding up.
Lots of people had water in the basements, and some people were lucky and only had a couple inches, but some people had a basement right full. Certainly there was huge amounts of damage in those cases.
Weeks after heavy rains flooded parts of southern Manitoba, communities are continuing to confront the damage head-on. Bill Gade is the reeve for the RM of Swan Valley West. He says in addition to cleanup, many residents have been continuing to assess damages and have been filing insurance claims, but they're not alone. According to the Insurance Bureau of Canada, insured losses from 2 days of severe weather in June in both Manitoba and Saskatchewan have climbed over $840 million, up from all of 2025, which saw around $760 million in losses, mostly due to wildfires. Wind, water, and hail exacted an astronomical toll all over just a few days.
To potentially break records for, at least for the Canadian prairies, for severe weather reports and events. So we're still putting together the numbers, but we could potentially break some records this summer.
The insurance industry is now urging provincial and federal governments to start investing in better infrastructure to protect Canadians from these extreme events. You're going to need to find a different route this week if your commute takes you across the Louise Bridge. The city says the bridge is being closed for 1 week, beginning this morning at 6 o'clock. Reopening is planned for the same time the following Monday. It's to allow for resurfacing work. The west sidewalk will remain open to pedestrians and cyclists. And now this is what you call fast food.
We're jumping into a storefront that's charging anywhere from $8,000 to $20,000 a month. I want to make sure people are enjoying the product.
Bradley Alvello runs what could be New York's smallest pizzeria. The Pizza Pod is operated entirely out of the back of a car. In the trunk, not the usual things you'd find back there. Instead, it's olive oil, sauce, and cheese. He also has a portable generator to power the mini ovens he needs, so he can just pull up to any street corner he wants. Here's a look at what's happening now along the Norwood Bridge. Traffic volumes still appear quite light to start off this Monday morning. If you have any problems out on the streets, please send us a text to let us know.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
Let's go back now to Ainsley, who's live this morning at the Hungary Pannonia Pavilion, and you're going to show us something else. Good morning, Ains.
You deserve to see something else. I know that I've been talking all morning about the food because it's so darn good, but you guys have to take a look at the cultural display as well. Lizzie, once again, a huge part of the culture is the stunning embroidery. You are, a walking art piece right now, but when you come to the pavilion, there's tons more.
Yeah, there is. I remember when I was young in Hungarian Scouts, we actually learned how to embroider. It was one of the things that we were taught. And there is different type of embroidery for different regions, different flowers, different types of thread, and you might even see some cross-stitching depending where you're at. So if you you are a history buff or a cultural buff, you'll be able to depict certain regions from the embroidery. And obviously, you saw in my vest, it's very thick and full of it. It is something that you will see in everyone's home who's Hungarian, whether it's pillowcases, whether it's doilies or tablecloths. It's a statement in our homes.
I almost want to feel it. Something else I want to feel, one of these Hungarian pooches.
Yes, we have Hungarian hounds, and some of them are very well known. The poolies in particularly are very unique. I remember the first time I saw one, I didn't realize it was a dog because it's so sheepy. And I was at a friend's place, and this dog started running towards me, and their eyes, you could barely see their eyes because the way that their hair grows, it actually covers their eyes.
I want to put some sunglasses on him and do some headbanging. I think that would be pretty fun. These doilies are stunning. Something else that's really cool is this hat, and there's some significance to it as well.
Yes, so every region will have some type of a headdress that young ladies will wear, and you will know that these ladies are young because they'll have a beautifully decorated headdress. Once they get married, they lose the beautiful headdress, and it now becomes a babushka. So it's our way of telling men and whoever might be interested that we're taken.
Mm-hmm. So I was wrong. Not a hat, headdress, beautiful. I'm like, what a gorgeous hat. Well, I'd be wearing that thing with the large, beautiful pom-poms on it.
Well, so would I. It's colorful and gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. More later, Rochelle.
Ainsley. Thank you. It may still be summer, but in less than a month, most Canadian kids will be headed back to the classroom. Families are now feeling the pressure and financial stress to purchase those must-have items. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth has tips on how to make back-to-school shopping go smoothly.
It's only early August, but the rush is already on to buy school supplies.
We would have liked the list for when all of the supplies were on sale.
According to the Retail Council of Canada, back-to-school shopping habits have changed in recent years.
Only 19% of the people we talked to said they'll finish it in one trip. Most anticipate 2 or 3 shopping trips, and that reflects the need to compare prices, visit different retailers.
Many parents now buy school supplies in June.
Shopping stretches across the entire summer season, with younger families starting earlier.
Marie Robertson's daughter starts school in September, making this her first go-around as a school supply shopper.
It's something that we plan for. We have to fit it into the budget.
When she finally gets her list from the school for what she needs to buy, Robertson plans to take a slow, steady approach.
Start working on those, buy things in little chunks so that's not all one big price at once.
Not only has the time frame for school supply shopping started earlier, but some of these supplies are getting more expensive, putting pressure on many families. The back-to-school retail market in Canada generates $4.5 billion each year. With prices climbing, retail analyst Bruce Winder urges parents to adopt strategies to save money.
Waiting for sales, starting early to get the sales, thrifting more, trying to make items last maybe 2 or 3 or 4 years, so not replacing items as often.
With so many choices and stores to choose from, Winder says parents should make a budget and a list.
Almost do an inventory of what you have now and what you need and stick to that.
Winder says the online market for school supplies is also growing, providing parents with choices and deals as the school year inches closer. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Dartmouth, Nova Scotia.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
14 degrees outside in Winnipeg right now. A few clouds kicking here or there. The wind out of the west at 9 clicks. Pressure rising, humidity sitting at 87%. It's still a few weeks from school, and it's going to be a great week to enjoy summer with some really nice seasonal average temperatures here in Winnipeg right now. As I mentioned, 14 degrees, 16 over the border in Kenora. 15 up in Gimli already, to our west out in Brandon, 13 degrees this morning, 9 in Roblin and 12 up in Swan River. Moving into the north, 12 degrees in Flin Flon and Lynn Lake, much of the same in Thompson, 11 degrees up in Churchill and 15 in Island Lake. Here in Winnipeg, we could see, some really nice temperatures this week. For today, getting up to around 23, 24 late this afternoon. Wind shifting a little bit northwest at 20 kilometers per hour. Some clouds in the sky. Going to feel a little closer to 27 with the humidex. Tonight, though, clouds rolling in a little bit more, dipping down to 13, which again is a seasonal average for this time of year. And if you look at that, we're going to be talking seasonal averages a lot this week. So take out those bingo cards and see how many times I say that. And as we get closer to the weekend, though, 23 on Friday. More cloud and a chance of some showers. Much of the same on Saturday, a high of 22, but sunny on Sunday and a high of 24. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with more Your Morning Winnipeg.
Barrick Mining says it has reached an agreement with Newmont on their Nevada joint venture, opening the way for the Canadian company to list its North American assets in New York. Under the agreement announced Monday, Newmont will pay Barrick $1.95 billion as the companies contribute previously excluded properties to the venture, including Barrick's 4 Mile project and Newmont's Fiberline and Mite developments. Barrick also announced Mark Hill as chief executive officer of its planned North American spinoff. A new report says the average national asking rent fell 4% in July compared with last year and now stands at just over $2,000, $2,037. That marks the 22nd consecutive month of year-over-year declines in the average cost being sought by landlords, according to the latest monthly analysis from Rentals.ca and Urban Nation. The asking rents have now fallen 7.5% over the past 2 years. Those are your morning business headlines. For B&M Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
One of the most endangered species in the world lives right here in Manitoba. The Powahchik skipperling butterfly can only be found in Manitoba's Tallgrass Prairie Preserve and a second site near Flint, Michigan. But conservation efforts happening here are giving the butterfly a nice lease on life in the wild. And joining us now to explain is Laura Burns from the Assiniboine Park Conservancy. Good morning. Thanks for joining us, Laura.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us about this butterfly, because it's only found in certain areas of Manitoba.
Yep.
And then suddenly they started disappearing. Tell us a little bit about what they are and why they're significant.
Yeah, so the Powahchik skipperling is a tiny grassland butterfly. When they're full grown as adults, they're only about the size of a dime, so you may never notice them. But they are one of the most endangered species in the world. They used to range across the Midwest, US, and up into Manitoba. And now, like you said, they're only found in 2 locations in the world, making them critically endangered. So yeah, we're part of an effort to try to stop extinction from happening and stop them from being lost from Canada.
What are they? Why are they significant to us as humans?
So they're part of a complicated prairie ecosystem, part of the prairie puzzle, and they're part of Manitoba's natural history. I think we'd lose a lot if we lost one of the species that is only found in Manitoba from here in Canada.
Why do you think they were in trouble? They are in trouble.
They are in trouble. Yeah, it's a complicated question. We're working with a lot of research teams to try and figure out why the populations crashed about 20, 25 years ago. We think it's something to do with a combination of climate change, probably pesticide use, invasive species, and just a loss of prairie habitat overall. But now their biggest risk to extinction is small population size. There are so few left that if a natural disaster goes through their area, they could be lost in a season because there's so few left.
Okay, so back in 2017, you decided, the Assiniboine Park Conservancy decided to do something about it.
Yes.
What was the effort and how did it go?
Yeah, we decided collectively with a group of partners here in Manitoba and internationally to start raising the butterflies at the zoo to give them a better survival rate and then release their offspring into the wild. So we caught 2 females in 2017 from the wild and brought them to the zoo and then raised their eggs through to adulthood for release the next year. And that's what we've been doing ever since then. So we just completed our 9th consecutive year of releases back into the wild.
There have been some bad years, though, where the release didn't seem to help at all.
Yeah, it was a slow start. There weren't many left to find in the wild to catch, so we had to slowly ramp up our efforts. We learned how to breed them at the zoo, which really helped produce more of them. You know, and this year we had our 2nd highest release number ever. Nearly 200 butterflies were released into the wild, which is a lot considering the year before we started, only 5 were seen flying in the wild.
And it's not just happening here in Manitoba, it's also happening in Flint, Michigan. It's sort of a partnership between the 2 of you.
Yeah.
You're seeing positive results this year.
Yes.
They're also seeing positive results. Tell us what's happening out there.
Yeah, in sites where we're doing releases and nearby areas, we're seeing more and more Powahchik. This year, was unbelievable, the number we saw in the wild. I had hoped it, but never really imagined it would happen, that we were seeing more on our survey sheets than we could fit on the data sheet.
Wow.
And we saw about 27 times more butterflies on surveys this year in Manitoba than we did in our first year. And it's the same in the US where they're doing releases. So we have a long way to go to recover the species, but I think what we're seeing is those first steps of recovery, which is really exciting and so rewarding to be a part of.
So this will continue because there's a lot of work left to do.
There is.
And it's working.
Yes. Yeah, we once we secure the sites we are doing releases in and they have good populations, we'll start looking at new reintroduction sites to release them to just make sure that population is healthy and robust to any changes that might occur.
Well, that is so exciting. Congratulations to you and your team for making this happen.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see a lot more in the wild, just naturally breeding and doing their own thing.
That's what we hope, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Laura, and congrats.
Thank you.
I spent the last couple mornings waking up with a cup of coffee and a hot tub. This is a far second, but a beautiful morning nonetheless. 14 degrees outside in Winnipeg right now. Mainly clear skies, wind very light out of the west. So beautiful, beautiful Monday morning, and we're going to have a beautiful day ahead. Highs around 24 here in Winnipeg and much of southern Manitoba today. Just below that up in the north too, but it's right around what we expect this time of year. I'm not going to say seasonal average more than once this hit, or I'll at least try. Out to our west, Brandon did see a little bit of rain this morning. Morden Winkler, same story, but fairly clear skies in the south for the rest of the day. Central and northern Manitoba could see some stray showers, maybe even a lightning strike or two as we move through the Monday. This evening getting a little cloudier, cooling off a little bit, but those temperatures right back up to 24 tomorrow and throughout the rest of the week. And our Skywatch pick of the day comes from Shelley from Faulkner. This is on the northeast side of Lake Manitoba during a community celebration this weekend. Keep those picks coming. Send them to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
The old saying, one person's trash is another person's treasure, carries some weight to it in the rural municipality of West St. Paul. For nearly 4 decades and counting, one antique store on the side of the road has connected hundreds of Manitobans with items they would have had a hard time finding anywhere else. CTV's Joseph Bernacki brings you the story of the buyer behind the thousands of items for sale with 40 years of history.
This is where the magic happens, okay?
On a Sunday afternoon in West St. Paul, Glenn Rossong prices crystal to join the thousands of other items for sale in his store. The co-owner of Candle Co. Antiques has spent more than 4 decades of his life buying and selling things.
Funny thing is, I know where I bought every single item I buy. I remember where I buy it from. My daughter has the same ability, and you have to like what you're doing if you're doing the same job over and over and over.
Rossong recalled the day he and his wife were looking for a place to open their own antique shop. In July of 1986, their dreams were met as they passed by this old brick building on Highway 9. At one time, it was the home for the Winnipeg Electric Company Middle Church substation, built around 1907.
To this day, my wife now believes me, but at that day, she said, "You must have had a 2 o'clock appointment." I says, "No, I got no appointment." A man walked out with a for sale sign.
Within days, they sold their home they just finished renovating in Elmwood and moved here. He built up a collection of antiques to sell through sales in Winnipeg and trips to Chicago, buying at their annual Coin Op show. Over time, the store expanded to a 2nd and 3rd floor of items.
I get 100 people a week that have never been to my store till this day. They say, "Well, how do you remember all these prices and everything else?" Well, it's just the same repetition over and over and over.
But it was a connection to an antique store in Iowa that built him a base of sellers to buy from to this day. He still makes trips to the American Midwest with his trailer a couple times a year.
It's all about fate. And the lady looks at me and says, "Where are you guys from?" I said, "I'm from Winnipeg." "Oh, we have a good friend in Winnipeg."
By sheer coincidence, a family in Iowa knew Rossong's uncle, who had come down for hunting pheasants. Friendships were made from there. Many years later, Rossong knows his buying days are numbered, but he still gets a thrill from the reaction an individual item will bring.
When you're in business for 40 years, you never get pushed. You have to be patient. It's not about any money and everything else. I'm still excited about somebody buying a $2 item if they really were looking for that item.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, West St. Paul.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers quarterback Zach Collaros practiced with the team on Sunday as he continues to work his way back from a neck injury. TSN is reporting Collaros is expected to come off the 6-week injured list early, making him available to play against the Ottawa Red Blacks Friday here in Winnipeg. The 37-year-old Collaros was injured during the team's 14-13 narrow victory over the Hamilton Tiger Cats on July the 5th after he was sacked by Ticats linebacker Reggie Stubblefield in the second quarter. Canadian rookie quarterback Taylor Elgersma finished the game in relief of Collaros, and recently acquired pivot Drew Brown started the team's next 4 games, going 2-2. Collaros is in his 6th season in Winnipeg and helped the team to 2 Grey Cup titles and 4 Grey Cup appearances. They may have little legs, but these guys can really move.
Is up. And Corgie's Array in the championship.
This is the ever so popular Corgi World Championship. The popular race sees these cute little corgis dashing 45 meters. This year the winner was Gustav the girl dog, also known as Gigi, taking it all in a close photo finish. Here's a look now on Notre Dame Avenue. Things are moving well this morning. We have no issues to tell you about the drive this morning. If you see anything, though, let us know, please. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Now for a look at our weather. We can expect to see some sunshine today.
Yeah, it's a beautiful start to the day, Rochelle. Already getting up to around 14 degrees here in Winnipeg, and it's just going to get better and better. Taking a look out at the live eye right now, 14 degrees, as I mentioned, fairly clear skies. Wind out of the west at 9 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, humidity sitting at 87%. And fairly clear this morning, not too much to show you. Now down south a little earlier, some light rain and a lightning strike or two rolled through Brandon and then into the Morden Winkler area. Now we won't see any of that here today. Could see some up in central and northern parts of the province. And but here in Winnipeg, a high of 24 degrees this afternoon. The wind picking up a little bit out of the northwest at 20 kilometers per hour. A mix of sun and cloud. As we get into the late afternoon, we could see a few more clouds roll in. And tonight dipping down to around 13 degrees. The wind shifting out of the south at 10 degrees. Again, a mix of sun and cloud, though that increasing cloudiness we could see tomorrow, waking up probably to what we're seeing this morning and getting up to again around 24 degrees tomorrow. That wind staying out of the south up to around 15 kilometers per hour. A mix of sun and cloud. And taking a look at the long range forecast, much of the same Wednesday and Thursday as well. Highs of 24. Chances of some showers on both Friday and Saturday, and more sunshine expected Sunday with a high of 24.
It's now easier to get free birth control in Manitoba.
So we want women and those who need this care to have the access in their communities.
Health Minister Uzama Azaguera has announced pharmacists can assess, prescribe, and administer eligible contraceptives. Pharmacists must complete approved training before they can provide contraceptive assessments and prescribe birth control. Eligible prescription contraceptives include oral pills, hormonal patches, vaginal rings, and intramuscular injections. Pharmacist Manitoba has been advocating for this change, saying pharmacists already have the skill and training needed to provide the care. Over the weekend, a museum in St. James marked a special anniversary, decades in the making.
50 years is quite the milestone. Not everybody or every organization or every entity makes it to 50 years.
Dozens gathered together at the Living Prairie Museum on Saturday to celebrate 50 years in the community. City officials marked the milestone with the launch of a revitalization project for the 14-hectare tall Grass Prairie Preserve. That's about 25 acres. Work will include new seating, signage, and learning gardens next to the Interpretive Center, in addition to an expansion to the museum's medicine garden. Staff say enhancements next to their Interpretive Center are greatly appreciated for everyone to enjoy the space.
One of them is right behind us here. We do have a new accessible pathway that's starting to work its way all the way around the building. That's going to allow wheelchair users, walker users, stroller users to get up close and personal with the prairie, the people who can't necessarily go on the existing trails.
Olenek says they are hopeful to have the Prairie for Everyone project work completed by this fall. More than 150 species of wildflowers and prairie grasses can be observed on site. As flames spread and more fires start, air quality across BC is another major concern.
You run out of breath a lot quicker. It feels like your lungs can't absorb the oxygen they need. And yeah, I think you can still get out and move for sure and just take it easy and don't go crazy.
Much of the province remains under air quality warnings, with healthcare professionals advising everyone to avoid spending too much time outside. Organizers canceled a triathlon that was scheduled for Kelowna this past weekend due to the smoke. But according to the BC Wildfire Service, the smoke does have a silver lining. It's keeping things slightly cooler on the ground, reducing some wildfire behavior and growth. A piece of property up for sale in Laval, Quebec is an island, but you can't build anything on it, and it mostly disappears in the spring. CTV's Matt Gilmore on the asking price and selling features.
Have you ever dreamed of owning your own private island? I bet it didn't exactly look like this in your mind's eye. A 10,000 square foot spit of land in the Rivière des Prairies. But if you don't mind trading white sand for rocks and shrubs, it could be yours for 50 grand.
It's not every day that I have to list an island, especially in Laval.
Of course, the exact size of the island depends on the time of year.
The island, you know, sometimes the water is high, sometimes it's low, so it can change, you know, like the island itself.
It's safe to say the property is located in a flood zone. Building on it is a non-starter, but broker Sasha DeSantis is looking for a different kind of buyer.
I think this listing would be great for someone who owns a waterfront, like one of the neighbors that has a waterfront and is worth maybe 2 or 3 millions already, and they just want to add an island to their home, you know, to get value up because nobody has an island.
The current owners bought the island for $13,000 in 2023. They're now looking to flip it for a 285% profit, despite its limitations and the fact the city valuation for the property is just $400.
We already have a couple of buyers interested. I received like 3 or 4 offers already with different prices, different conditions. So we are looking at that right now.
It's not exactly an oasis in the sun. Matt Gilmore, CTV News.
Here's a look at what's happening right now on Portage Avenue. We're not sure why there are delays in this area right now, but there are indeed some problems happening here. If you know what it is, please send us a text to let us know. And let's look now at your gas prices. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.66. We're seeing a decrease compared to last week's amount, and the lowest price in the city is $1.56. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
It's time now for your answers to our question of the day. Today we asked, what's your favorite way to spoil your dog? Janet shared, I spoil my dogs Lotto and Max Black with love, affection, and their favorite treats. Tracy says, carrying Schneider to bed because he's super sleepy and putting him on our big comfy bed too. Perfectly capable to do it himself. Marlene texted, my little Paige loved pillows, so I would buy her a special pillow, and she loved barbecue steak. Bonnie's answer, our beagle likes to ride on the golf cart and to see the other animals and dogs as we drive by. And Kathy spoils her dog with lots of walks and playing in the backyard. Thank you for your responses.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic. Science-backed body contouring.
Let's go back now to Ainsley, who's live this morning at the Hungry Pannonia Pavilion. And you've been exploring all kinds of goodies, food, treats. What are you going to show us now?
A big treat. It's a live performance, and we're going to hear about it first from Lizzie. Tell us about the local performers as well as people who have come from far away.
We've got our local Kapistran Hungarian folk dancers who are now led by Robert Langtree, who is going to be dancing on stage, and Trina Ola. They are going to be performing for you a Kolotasegi Legényes that's going to be accompanied by the band. A few little pieces about this dance. This used to be used by the military to recruit men into the army, because back in the day it was a 20-year service, and so you were going to be leaving your loved ones for a long time. They needed to make it look super cool, and that's how they got the young men to perform. And then of course we've got our musicians. We have Jumbi and Hunor, who are here from Transylvania, and then also we've got Attila and Levi, who are also with a different band with Janta. They are part of our family at this point in time because they've been coming to Folklorama for many, many years. And this pavilion would not be the same without live music and, of course, having such great friends as well.
Thank you so much for giving the descriptor. Before we see it, take it away.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And then the hug to wrap things up because they're so proud of themselves. It looks so good. Thank you so much to them. Daniel, you're out on the rooftop. It looks pretty nice out there too.
Yeah, if I had one left and one right foot, maybe I'd try dancing too, but not my thing. But oh my goodness, they were fantastic. And it's fantastic out here. 14 degrees, mainly clear skies. Very light winds out of the west this morning. Pressure rising, humidity sitting at 97%. Southern Manitoba, a lot of the same, some scattered showers in Brandon and the Borden-Winkler area this morning. Chance of some showers up north and in central parts of the province this afternoon and evening. Here in Winnipeg, getting up to around 24 degrees later this afternoon. It's going to feel closer to 27 with the humidex. Those winds picking up slightly out of the northwest at 20 kilometers per hour. As we move into the evening, going to cloud over just a little bit more, dipping down to around 13 overnight. Tomorrow, though, we're going to see the same 24-degree high, and that's pretty much the entire week until we hit the weekend when we could see a little rain on Friday and Saturday. So make the most of it, folks. It's a beautiful day out, and there's plenty coming, and plenty coming more on the show right after the break. We'll be right back.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Here's a look at Portage Avenue now at Polo Park. We do know that construction is affecting the drive-in this morning. It's affecting lanes both eastbound and westbound, and so few can try to avoid this area. There is growing concern about a fairly common household product. Lithium-ion batteries power everything from phones and laptops to e-scooters and lights. But fire departments across the country are now sounding the alarm. CTV's Kathy Lee on the dangers and how you can reduce the risk.
Started over here by... The scars of this fire are everywhere. Fred Dennis's home in Medicine Hat, Alberta may still be standing, but it's a complete write-off. You can see the flames up above the house. The fire broke out on the back deck early last month. Dennis and his wife were out grocery shopping. The worst part about all of this is we lost our dog and cat in the fire. As they grieve their loss, news from the fire department about how the blaze started shocked them. They figured it was a lithium-ion battery. Dennis said that battery was in this solar light purchased online.
What happened here is part of a much bigger problem countrywide. In Calgary, fire crews responded to multiple calls involving lithium-ion batteries.
Not one, not two, but at least 3 reported fires in 24 hours. 2 involved e-scooters, their lithium-ion batteries overheating while charging.
If that battery becomes compromised, it goes into what's called thermal runaway, and that's where very, very quickly that fire will accelerate and grow.
Calgary has already recorded more lithium-ion battery fires this year than last. Toronto and surrounding communities are also reporting an increase, the latest incident on the 7th floor of a high-rise.
The greatest, fastest evolving, growing public fire safety risk in the city is lithium-ion battery fires.
Experts say several factors are fueling the problem, from batteries sold online that don't meet Canadian safety standards to damaged or cheap charging cords to improper disposal of batteries or overcharging devices.
You never want to charge something beyond 100%.
Beyond public awareness, fire officials nationwide are also calling for stronger oversight of lithium-ion batteries sold in Canada. Dennis hopes sharing what happened here will lead to change.
I hope they get the industry to improve what they're making.
Because he doesn't want anyone else to go through what his family has. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Medicine Hat, Alberta.
The town of Beauséjour is transforming into a hive for creative minds. Later this month, more than 100 artists, writers, and performers will gather at the Bowhead Arts Festival on August 21st and 22nd. The festival's co-founder, Brittany Wirch, joins us now with more. Good morning, Brittany.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, I'm great. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, this festival started back in 2018. You're an artist. You felt there was a real need for sort of a platform for local artists in the area. Tell us a little bit about what was happening back then and how this festival has really transformed things.
That's right. There was a gap in that need. We have a lot of local talent in our area, and they didn't have anywhere to showcase their work to that community that we live in now. So we wanted to create a festival to showcase all the local talent that we have, and ever since then it's grown year after year into a more robust festival.
What kind of artists are we talking about here?
Oh, we got so many arts. We got clay, we got glass fusion, sculpture, yeah, you name it, glass fusion. Performers, theater, music, even film now this year. So.
Wow. Okay, so 2018 it started and it's getting bigger every year. Where are we at in terms of performers and what people can expect to experience there?
Well, this year it's a free festival, so anyone and everyone can come to the festival and learn and participate, and we believe that everyone is an artist, so come on down and learn all the different forms and mediums of art. We do have lots of performances from like a cultural perspective of like Acadian, but we also have the theatrical piece from our local Haystack Productions. We also have, honestly, there's so many things going on, it's hard to keep track of, but just tons of activities for artists to participate in.
Okay, there is something new this year. It's called the Post-Secret Project. Tell us about that.
So we partnered with our local library to launch this global project called the Post-Secret Project. This is where we invite attendees to come and fill out a postcard in a private, anonymous way where they can write down their feelings, a secret that they have, and they decorate it with collage.
Okay.
They submit the postcard, and then at the end, in the fall sometime, we're going to be doing a gallery showing of all these postcards at the library, and we believe that art is a form of therapy, and this wouldn't have happened without the support from the library and the Interlake Eastern Regional Health Authority, so we're really excited about that piece.
Very cool. Okay,
yeah.
And you also have an art supplies market, art discovery hall. Tell us what that's all about.
So this year we launched the art supplies market. We had the community come and donate new and gently used art supplies, and we put together some art kits for the community to buy. They're very reasonably priced, and if you want to get into watercolor, you can pick up an art kit for $10. It includes all the supplies you need, an art instruction book, and you can take it home, and maybe next year you can come as a new and emerging artist.
And so a lot of people might learn a new skill when they go, but they might also get a nice piece of art to decorate their homes, right?
Oh yes, we have 17 showcasing artists this year, all different types of art. that are available to buy, and we've had such a great turnout and such a wide variety of artists showcasing, not just local, but people all the way from Brandon showcasing. And we found year after year artists really enjoy that area because it's such a niche spot. You get to display in all these heritage buildings at the museum, so it's a really cool spot for artists to come, and they utilize their space really well, and it's almost like it's curated.
That is so neat. Okay, so this is happening August 21st and 22nd. It is free. Anything else, Brittany?
Other than the Art Discovery Hall, we really want to encourage people to come and take a look at the behind the scenes of what art is, whether it's through filmmaking or, you know, understanding how a book is illustrated and written. We do have a children's book that's going to be showcased there about a therapy dog named Luca, and he's coming too. Okay. And you get to learn all about it. So,
and we also have a link on our website, so if you want more information. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
14 degrees outside in Winnipeg right now. Mainly clear skies, wind out of the west at 9 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, humidity sitting at 87%. Our quick last look at weather today. Not much to show you on the Skywatch satellite this morning. Some scattered showers in parts of the southwest and south central earlier today, but taking a look at our long-range forecast, highs of 24 for much of the week under a mix of sun and cloud, lows overnight around 13 degrees, chance of some showers heading into the weekend, but we're going to finish things up on Sunday with plenty of sunshine and again a high of 24. Don't go anywhere. We'll wrap up the show with some fun videos next.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Disney is known as the happiest place on earth unless you're this baby. Right. This is what happens when you fall asleep at Disney World. Little Aria was napping in her dad's arms when she entered the It's a Small World ride and woke up absolutely shocked at everything around her. What happened? Oh my goodness. And then kids see everything and copy everything you do, even when they're playing. It's all fun and games until the smoke alarm goes off. This little girl is waving a pillow at the alarm just like her mom does while she's playing Pretend Kitchen. Very creative. And then finally, from pretend problems to real life problems.
Midlifer confessions. My feet were turning brown and I thought I was in full liver failure. Turns out the new lotion I bought was self-tanner. Midlifer confessions.
I mixed up what was in my hands and threw cat treats in my mouth instead of the peanuts.
Midlifer confessions.
I made the midlifers. Suzette and Lisa believe that aging gracefully is overrated. They want to age hilariously and are sharing their experiences. They've been all over my Instagram, those two, so they must be popular. That does it for us. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.